And I think we're live. Are we? Yeah, it's all working. Brilliant.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. If there is indeed anyone watching, welcome to Eaters of the Earth. Everyone's in their right place. Everything's working. That's brilliant. Okay, let's get going. First of all, I think I forgot to say this last time. We are supposed to thank the game makers, Freehold Games, who made Case of Cards, the video game that inspires Eaters of the Earth. So thanks as always to them for making such a wonderful game. Well, I think it's wonderful. I mean, everyone else here can have their own opinions.
I think it's wonderful because we get to live in its landscape, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've now strayed far from the setting.
I'm sure I love it. I just haven't played it yet.
I actually have played the game and it is good.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. You've got a ringing endorsement from Grace. I think that's about as strong as a Grace endorsement gets, really. So, yeah. Anyway, a little bit of homekeeping. Unfortunately, we weren't able to stream last week because Harry's internet had some problem. I think Virgin internet went down or something along those lines.
Can I do a disendorsement, please? You know how some people get paid to do endorsements? Do not buy Virgin Media broadband. They say they're the fastest, and that might be true, but it will also just not work half the time. Anyway, yeah, that's my bit.
Very fast.
The other piece of the other update is my audio's been a bit quiet in previous streams. I'm not quite sure why this is. There seems to be some weird tech hiccup somewhere in the matrix of all of this stuff. I've done my best. I've done some horrifying audio alchemy to try to fix it. People streaming, tell me if I'm too loud, too quiet, any problems. I will try to fix them on the fly. I can't guarantee anything, but I'll try my best. Yeah, that's it. Anything? Unless there's anyone else has got any updates. My beard is gone, which we're all really broken up about. But aside from that, are we ready to play?
It's my birthday in almost a month.
It's your birthday? Oh,
Yeah,
cool. It's my birthday in about...
Still quite far away, but I'm
3
still
months.
excited.
When is your birthday?
August 3rd.
Oh, really? It's my birthday.
Get prepared.
Okay, well, people can look forward to our birthday stream of that. No, kidding. Anyway, shall we get on with the recap? Are we good to go? All right. So, last time, after the, I think it's fair to say, disastrous conclusions of your expedition to Rafe Reach, you returned westward to the city of Behel. Arriving, you found that the city was under quarantine, and Ilek, the wizard in disguise, met with you amongst the merchants who were camped outside the eastern gate. He gave you some understanding of the events that had transpired at Rafe Reach and discussed his and your next move. Convinced that Moda Rayfort would be marching upon Behel soon, he required allies to defend the city with its meagre guard and its crumbling walls. With Karelia holding Ilek to his promise to cure the Oseth people of the Shale Plague, you convinced him to head to their settlement of Osairo in the hopes that in exchange for their aid, he could secure their support. So, kind of calculating the magic he was going to have to use, Ilek requested that you head northwest to the ruins of a place called Aban, and gave you instructions on how to access the hidden hall within that place to retrieve surviving monks of Aban who were trapped, possibly by Ilek himself, you're not sure, in eternal slumber. Making your way there, Karelia, in her dreams, was visited by a strange Sphinx character who named themselves Alaz Jo Alaz, the Master of Masters. They offered to help you use your powers if one day you would help them with something else in return. Reaching Aban, you used the magic words Ilek had given you and revealed this strange arcane chapel containing mummified monks and immortal people held in a state between death and life. Also within was a giant mutated insect thing that had feasted itself upon the magics here, and narrowly avoiding its horrifying attacks, you escaped with 3 of these sleepers. So we begin now right where we left off. Panting, bleeding, you gather yourselves in the ruins of Aban. The screeching and gurgling of the beast you just fought fades behind the chapel entrance Ailey just closed. It was only for a fleeting moment that you were within that eldritch hell, but you know you'll remember the sights therein for a lifetime. You are within the lowest part of the ruin, where scant few shafts of midday sunlight softly illuminate the rubble. Before you, on the ground, are 3 bodies wrapped in neat bandages, unmoving, unbreathing, and yet such pictures of perfect health that their liveliness is apparent even here in the shadows. What is it you're doing?
What, guys? We get back on these hairy lizards and take them back?
The wizard said they wouldn't wake, but Corellia, could you do your magic and see what it is that has been done to them?
Okay, yeah, we'll do that first.
I can certainly try. So I.
Cool. Do you want to give me a psychic check then?
I do. That's a 26, baby.
26. Okay, so you reach in, you feel the life force within these people. And it's strange. It's almost it's a little like what you tried to do to the fly monster a moment ago, which is to make the life force within kind of seized up, stagnant, unmoving. Within these people, there is unquestionably life, but it is petrified. It does not move and flow in the way that the living should. They're kind of trapped in a state between life and death that seems to make them, if not unkillable, at least kind of warded against dangers, but also completely catatonic, immobile, unthinking. You can tell there's no thoughts within these people's heads.
Play this to my pals, and gotta be honest, I kind of have an urge to unfreeze them.
Oh, ooh.
I don't want to deal with a 100-year-old monk. Honestly.
Or a monk. Just you with a few more wrinkles.
Well, do you want to deal with me but 100 years old?
Yes.
The wizard wanted them frozen.
Sorry?
The wizard wanted them frozen, and he might not want them to wake up, and they might not want to be delivered. So I think they should stay asleep.
Yeah, I think we should just leave them the way they are. And the last time we messed with things we shouldn't, kind of got dealt with. So I'm gonna go hard.
Gonna correct you on that we there. Wasn't a we. Was definitely a you situation.
We lost our best friend.
Yeah.
But you don't feel that.
I do not do any further magic.
You don't feel that loss like me. Clutches. But
yeah, do you feel pain kind of briefly shoot up where your hand has been severed, perhaps?
I think we should just leave them sleeping. I mean, who knows? It could be. Who knows? It could be Harry's new character. But I think maybe we should leave them sleeping if that's what Illick wants.
Do I know why they're sleeping? Do I know what magic has caused this?
I mean, you think this. I mean, to be clear, they're not sleeping in the way that you would sleep. They are not breathing. They're not thinking. But sleep is an easy way to describe it. I mean, as far as you can understand it, is because the life within them is immobilized. If the life within them was moving, they would be, alive and moving and breathing and so on. You think that's how?
I think this is something I could do to someone.
I mean, you struggled greatly to do this to the fly thing, which did have life moving within it and was a bit more easy to kind of a bit more tangible in a way. But it's it's potentially within your scope. I will say as well that feeling the kind of stagnant life within them, there is a great wealth of it. These people are, they're almost kind of like batteries or something. They're very powerful life force contained within, but frozen.
No question. Are they human?
Yeah, they are human mutants. They're not. You can see they have mutations on them. One is missing an eye. One has a hand with two. Their four fingers have melded into two. That kind of stuff.
No dromads.
Actually, on a 25 as well, I think there's no dromads. I think you might understand a bit more a kind of sense of the life force in these people. It is as if there is a kind of more life force than would be appropriate for a life within these people. They're kind of overcharged in a certain sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
What?
Did I miss that they're full of life force?
Yes.
More than a normal person would be.
Do you think Corellia would be able to siphon that life force?
It did make you cough blood last time you did it. Taking an abundance of life force out and putting it into yourself did make you start. Did do damage to you. You are hurt right now by doing that.
But it could be done. I think this may be how the wizard lives so long. I think he may be abundantly full of life force.
Oh. Is that something that we want to aid with?
Well, I need him to help me.
The longer he lives, the longer he keeps us in employment. So.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to start putting these marks on the back of a camel. Or hairy lizard, rather.
Should we start putting these things on the hairy lizards?
Yeah, I think so. Let's go.
Okay, so
riding off.
I suppose each of you will carry one of these bodies on your own. I mean, they are a full body, so they're fairly hard to carry. But you try to kind of get them over your shoulders, and it's a fairly uncomfortable, arduous climb out of the ruins here with all the loose gravel that forms the floor. But eventually you do get out to where you tied up the two camels and the large hairy lizard that you have as a beast of burden. And after about a little while of kind of wrangling the slightly disgruntled lizard for now having to carry such a heavy load, you have these... you have these three bodies now firmly lashed to the back of this creature. And I assume you begin to head southwards towards Osairo.
I think so.
Yeah. I realise I've made a mistake, because if I switch to the map screen now, I'm going to reveal the name of Harry's character. So unfortunately we can't do that.
You challenge your approaches.
Trying to keep it a little bit of a surprise, but I will narrate how you travel. So you begin to head south, coming off of the slopes of the Alak Mountains. It's fairly easy going. Your squat lizard doesn't have much of a problem with traversing this. Your camels need a bit of encouragement sometimes, but eventually you come down. You begin to move through the Zura Hills, which are encased in part the Zura River that passes by Behel.
The what hills and what river?
The Zura Hills and the Zura River.
R.I.P.
Oh, okay, because it sounds a bit like Zurab. Okay, that confused me for a moment. Barnelect with some expertise for moving animals across distances, handling them, crossing rivers. You've had experience with this before. Coming to the Zura River itself, you find somewhere shallow enough to move these lizards, move the animals across. You have to move the camels first, and then the three of you have to kind of partly carry the lizard, being too squat to go underwater. It would drown. But after slightly muddy and soaking work, you cross, and you're on the other side of the Zura Hills when it's beginning to get towards nighttime. You set up camp. Is there anything any of you are doing while you're kind of preparing for the night, as it were? Any conversations or preparations or rituals or so on? Oh, sorry, my keyboard's going all
What do
weird.
you guys think that heart was?
That's a good question, because I was going to grab it. But, I decided against it as we nearly died. But I have no idea. No idea. What do you think?
Liam, does Ailey have a notion, as I do, that the half-healed golden body was that of Anita?
I mean, you certainly wouldn't. It would be fair for you to look at it and see it as divinity. It was like a person made of gold, and it wasn't like a half-formed person. Like, you couldn't really make out much of a face. There was maybe a scalp there and kind of the impressions of an eye forming, but it was mostly kind of a kind of crumbling flesh and bone. I think Ailey has to interpret this how she would based on her own faith. It's within possibility, but it might be something else. It might be some kind of magical, some product of magic rather than an entity unto itself. It's up to you.
In that case, I will half indulge Ailey in knowing my suspicions, which is that I think Ailey advances the notion that it's some sort of demon or spirit trapped in a physical form and whose life is borrowed by the machines around it to feed the sleepers and keep them living. It's disintegrated because its body and its life is eaten by the machines. That's what I think.
Hmm.
You think we could go back sometime?
Why?
Yeah, I think we should at one time.
You want to fight the...
I don't know, like, kind of. I mean, maybe it'll die in between us being there and being not. Could be lucky.
I think that is an ancient and well-fed beast.
I would say Corellia. Yeah, I mean, you had contact directly with this thing's life force. I mean, you've probably still got some of your own blood on you, where you kind of, vomited as a response. That thing will live for hundreds of years more. You think, just on its own, on its own vim.
I just really want to heal the heart. I think something cool will happen.
If that half-living body could be made whole, such a being would be a powerful ally.
I just wanted to do it because it was cool, but that would be nice too, yeah.
It would be cool.
Of this conversation going on, I'm just checking in on the hairy lizards and the camels and getting ready for bed.
Sure, give me an animal handling check.
Okay. Let's roll the game. Oh, it is 26.
26.
This is Shannon Erasure. Didn't Shannon already roll?
For an animal handling to...
Yeah, Shannon gets erased a lot with them. Leave them be.
I think this is just Barnleck's, a measuring of Barnleck's kind of caravan skills here. Yeah, you're taking good care of these things. They're well fed, they're well rested. You're not overexerting them, and they'll be fine for tomorrow. Sam, can I ask, do you still have a note of what your golden path rolls are from last time?
I've only got one left.
Is it a 3?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I've got notes. Brilliant. Okay, that's fine. So, if there's nothing else, are there any more conversations you have that night, or are you sleeping? Okay, so
We're sleeping.
as you begin your rest, cozily nestled between the rolling Zura hills, some of you are visited by dreams. We're going to do Ailey first. 1 second. Ailey, you are in a meditative pose, eyes closed, hands rested in lap, perhaps awake, perhaps dreaming. And in that quiet, once again, you feel the presence of the being you serve. It says nothing to herald its arrival, yet its sudden touch upon your mind is unmistakable. You open your eyes, and you find you are suspended within perfect black, like the vision visited upon you 3 weeks prior. There are people flanking you this time, however, and as you look to your left and right, you see iterations of yourself, still meditating, stretching for eternity. Scrutinizing them, you realize there are changes between the Ailey's here. Those to your left grow smaller. No, younger. And your monastic habit becomes neater, cleaner. To your right, the Ailey's grow thinner, the fur greys. The habit becomes more weathered by the trials to come. And far afield, perhaps the hint of healed injuries. A voice in the dark speaks, again in a language you do not know, yet can understand perfectly. This time the voice is clearer, more articulate than the staccato single-word commands it gave you last time. Through your service, I have returned to the fold. You feel something right upon your consciousness. I'm going to send you now the rule description for the new spell, Region Code. How shall I send this to you?
However you would like.
I'm going to send it over Facebook Messenger quickly then.
Mm-hmm.
1 second.
EBN.
So there you go. You
Niche joke, Sam.
learn a new spell.
To be clear, is this like my brain isn't read only? It's just being like it's just having like some little bit of new like content uploaded.
Yes, you've just had a content update that is a new spell, a new normal spell.
Do I get like a patch notes, or am I just like?
Sorry.
So,
No, it is now. It's previously you would understand some of these spells as things you learned, you have memory for, but this is something that is purely grafted into you. So now it is as if you always knew it. You have no memory. There's no chronology to this thing. It is now exists within your consciousness, just like any other spell, and feels.
It's been slotted into like my my long-term memory and my reflex and stuff.
Yeah, I mean you've got a few optional spell slot, spell choices, and it's stuck one in there.
I'm trying to figure out what it's like to have this done to your mind.
Yeah, I mean you're free to interpret how you like.
Is it like remembering, or do I feel the brain being modified?
You definitely feel something being slid into your brain. But after that, it is like memory. The voice speaks again. Now, seek the other servants. Images coalesce out of the darkness. 2 people. The first is a human mutant, a thin-featured man with curly black hair. His left eye is not there. In the right, 2 separate irises bump against each other. He wears a white robe, religious in nature, you suspect, from its ceremonial presentation. The other is a Thippian, and you might recall these Moda Ray thought was a Thippian as well. Of auburn fur and short trunk. Beneath their heavy brow, 2 eyes of pure black stare with a zealous ferocity. Their appearance has an air of vagrancy to it, with matted fur and scuffed clothes. What catches you most about both people is that, although the religious trimmings upon them are distinct, each of these people carries a black rod identical to your own. They will be seeking you too. I grant you this boon to guide you. And somewhere along the line of past Ailey's, a younger self chants the mantra of clarity, and the being in the dark edits the verses in your mind. I'm going to send you your second new feature, which is the mantra of clarity. Right now, sorry about the
Is it a younger self who is chanting?
A younger self is chanting it, and your current self is having the memory of the chant tweaked.
So this is a familiar chant.
Yeah.
Like, is this something I have known of old, and I'm being subtly corrected?
Yes.
Oh, that's very cool.
These are the things that come to you in this dream.
Mm-hmm.
It parts you with the words, "Do not trust the wizard. Now, awaken." And you awake. But someone else has dreamt this night as well. So we'll go back to them. Barnelect, Sam.
Yeah.
It's time for a dream sequence for you, buddy. Barney.
I hope it's wholesome.
You've had this dream a few times before. The caravan had come to the land of Zigel to trade Yopna beasts and other curios from across the Pale Sea to the Water Baron Minok. Your father, at the head of the negotiations, had left you to wander the palace grounds. You were young when all this happened, perhaps no older than 10. You recall once more moving through smoky rooms with seated circles of merchants, where water flowed with irreverent ease. You had been sad to see the serene, graceful Yopna beasts leave your caravan to join Minok's menagerie, but had quickly moved on, to racing through the sprawling palace grounds with other children from the caravan and Minok's retinue. There your laughter had echoed through the limestone halls for a time, before your father found you in a tittering, exhausted heap with the other children, and dragged you away from such improper behaviour. However, this time, the memory diverts from its predetermined course. Where previously the entrance to Minok's garden had been just a blur of verdant green you raced past in the middle of chasing another child, this time you stop and stare at the vine choked archway and hedge maze beyond. What are you doing?
Ooh. I'm gonna. Am I being dragged whilst
You're not being moved. You have a dream that is just a repeat of a memory, and then suddenly the memory is changing, and you are remembering a different story.
I'm going to go towards what is now clear that was unclear.
Sure. So you walk under that archway. Your hand kind of brushes a leaf from a vine as you go past, and you begin to walk into this twisting and complex hedge maze, well tended, such that it is kind of uniform in features, and quickly you find it harder and harder to navigate this place. Can you give me a investigation or perception check as you try to search through this maze? And I will say this now, you can use any of your fortune or golden path features here, by the way.
Oh, excellent. You know what? I will. I'll use Fortunate Son, please.
Cool. Give me a roll then, and add a d4.
Roll. What am I testing? Sorry.
You are rolling either perception or investigation to try to navigate this hedge maze. Whichever's higher.
Investigation. Perception is +2. Investigation is also +2. So it's a 9 + 4, 13.
Did you roll the d4 as well?
It's 13.
13. Okay.
Oh, wait, no, sorry. So if it's 9 + 2, which is 11, 14.
Is that right? Sorry.
15.
15. Okay.
A 15. I got a 15.
Okay, good. I was going to say, because it sounded like you hadn't calculated right, and 15 is the DC. So,
Yeah.
So, as you travel, the moon and the stars light your way through this hedge maze. And as you go, gossamer threads of gold drift past you, and like a wind at your back, they begin to guide your path through this place. Eventually, these threads do lead you to the centre, where they dissipate into nothingness. Here at the heart of the maze, a mighty statue of a lion resides, reclined against a bedding of leafy overgrowth. Its size is almost comically out of place, spanning nigh 10 metres in width, and as you look up at this towering thing, that you see it has no head. Instead, the lion's neck ends in a perfectly flat surface. Drawing close to this vine-swathed monument, something sizable glitters in the midnight dark beneath the lion's paw, obscured by the plants. Reaching forward, a curious child, you pull the plants aside, and a casket-sized box of perfect glass is firmly held under the lion's stony paw. Cold to the touch, frost gathered on its flat surfaces obscures an object you can see contained within. You sharply inhale as you touch the bitterly cold glass to scrape away the frost, and revealed within is a familiar face. You blink with surprise and watch the sky above brighten with daybreak as you awake. Last but not least,
I get a cool spell?
Do you get a cool spell? I'm afraid not. Sorry, Sam.
Okay.
All in good time. Lastly, Carillia, while you don't get any special dreams, you do get a new feature, which I'm sending to you now, called Stem the Life Flow.
What?
Okay.
Okay.
As you slumber, your attempts at kind of seizing stopping the movement of life within the creature you fought the other day coalesces into a new talent. Shannon and Grace, you can read out your new features if you want to. If you want to keep them secret and reveal them later on, that's up to you.
Well, I ain't no secret keeper.
Okay.
I can stun people now. I can stun them.
Yeah, so you can necrotic damage people and also stun them now. Grace, are you going to hold on to yours
Everybody's
until
getting
later?
stunned all over the place.
Oh no, like Ailey, I keep my secrets close. They are my only allies.
Good. Okay, cool. Last but not least, because you've all done, you've managed to now, effectively, you've gone through a few scraps, you've accomplished a few things. Everyone here, sorry Harry, not you, can increase an ability score by 1. You've now advanced enough. Your abilities are beginning to be slightly honed.
Yeah.
So, everyone.
Liam, why the fuck are you being so generous? I do not trust this.
Oh yes, what's going to happen next?
To clarify,
Yes.
do you mean an ability score or a modifier?
No, an ability score. You're increasing an ability score by 1. This might not change any of your modifiers.
There is no way for it to affect my modifiers at all.
Okay, well, you will at some point. An ability score will probably go up by 1 again. So there you go. Cool. Are we all good with our new features and ability scores and so on? Sam, sorry, you haven't got a feature yet. All in due time.
Lost a hand and I had a dream about my best mate dying, but and everyone else is
right. So you've woken up the next day. Alien, Barnelect, you've both had strange dreams. Like how dreams, normally can very quickly dissipate from the mind. When you come back to the waking world, you begin to set about, preparing the animals to travel, getting ready, rolling up your bedrolls, those kind of things. But you do have, both of you, kind of the, sense at the back of the mind that last night you both had a strange experience. And you begin to head southwards to make the rest of the way to Osairo. Are there any conversations you're having on the journey?
I think Barney's just a little bit more subdued than normal because of the dream that he had.
Right, Barney.
I have a thing I want to do before we set off.
Yeah, what's up?
I'd like to cast my spell you just gave me.
Okay, sure.
Region code. I'd like to cast it on the Key of Solomon to discover what I can cast, what spells can be cast with it.
Okay, so to be clear, you have to use the Key of Solomon to cast it while on a separate object. You can't cast it
doesn't
upon
say
itself.
that in the text.
Okay. Rules as intended, you can't cast it upon itself.
Okay, no worries. Worth a try.
If I was being really, kind of annoying and pedantic and self-defensive, I would say that it's not so much that there are spells inherent to the Rod of Solomon in the way that there are to other objects, and it is more that these spells are kind of a pact, an arrangement between you and an entity associated with it.
Well, that in itself is knowledge that I have gained.
Oh, crumbs. Okay.
Oh.
Well.
Well, it was worth a try.
Sure.
I could have unlocked some horrible, terrifying power.
Okay. Are you
distinguish.
using the mantra as well? Sorry, or am I? You're not using.
I
that?
am not going to risk the mantra at this time.
Okay. Cool. So you begin to head south. You come out of the Jura Hills and you move into the cusp of the Vazi Basin. I really should get the map screen up, but again, it's going to reveal Harry's character's name. We'll do that later. Beyond, far in the distance, you can see kind of rising hills, a few glimmers of rust red as the sun comes up the rusted road, and far, far beyond, you think you see the walls and towers of Udrins, the capital of Alekvazi, and perhaps beyond the silver glittering of the sunken city that arose from the depths not too long ago that Ilex spoke of recently. you've seen only really conflict so far in Alekvazi, but looking over here, this is a beautiful place. You can understand why peace kind of reigned here for 200 years. If the environment can shape the people, there is a certain tranquility here. And I'll say as well, you can probably also see the thin line of blue that is the still sea beyond Udrund. Particularly for Ailey, coming from a kind of Odrum, a kind of harsher place that wasn't too long ago gripped by civil war. Maybe you kind of feel a certain difference between this place and the land you come from. Corellia, I mean, you're not really used to horizons being in a jungle. Usually it's just trees in all directions. But anyway, you continue on your way. Eventually you have to climb up banks and you return to the gravelly road that some of you came down towards Behel 3 weeks ago. Ailey and Corellia, you travelled along here, and now you're travelling back up it towards Osairo, and you can see the squat buildings that have been made there, and a few more of them have been erected in your absence since. And you can see maybe kind of, small specks of white of the Oseth people moving around. You can tell at this distance that it is larger in population than when you left. Not massively more so, but it has undeniably grown. Eventually, you get close to the outskirts of Osairo. Some Oseth kind of give you the wary eye as you begin to approach. What are you doing?
I think before we
Any
approach,
of them recognize me?
I'm gonna have a luck roll for Corellia. Oh, by the way, Sam, you can re-roll your golden path rolls because you had a long rest now.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Corellia, you're only there for 2 days, and the few kind of around the outskirts who have spotted you, maybe one of them has a bow, looks like a hunter, but doesn't recognise you.
can we cover the sleepers in something?
Yeah, I can say you'll have previously kind of in preparation for this covered you'll have enough cloth to cover them up.
My roll is sensational.
Oh, what did you get?
Are they?
Nat 20,
Nice.
19,
Jesus.
and a 1.
Oh my God, amazing. That's the benefit you got from that dream, Sam, is a really, really good path roll.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are you doing as you're approaching Osairo?
Can I ask one of you want to go?
Do we know where? I assume we're meeting Ilek here, aren't we?
He said he was heading to here last you spoke to him. Yeah. Sorry, Shannon, what were you saying?
Can I ask if any of them know? I can't remember his name, but that guy that I met in the first session.
Sethnet?
Yeah, the guy. No.
Do you mean Sethnet?
Ah. Yeah, I'll write his name down.
Okay. Yeah, so you approach one of these people and they kind of warily step back as you get closer. But as you begin to explain who you are, you see a look of recognition cross their face. They speak, oh, you're the healer who came here previously. Sethnet has spoken with you. Shall I take you into the village?
That'd be great, yeah.
They clearly don't get many visitors here. You can see that they are looking back to Barnlect and Ailey and your animals with a bit of a kind of wary comprehension. I will say as well, you've approached this person. Getting close, you can see they appear to be attending to some strange, what you first think might be some kind of crop, but it's a bit different to that. Getting close, you see this kind of, almost kind of waxy crimson object. You think maybe some kind of strange fungus. It forms this strange kind of irregular lattice and kind of climbs up almost like kind of a strange twisted spire. It's not particularly big, but you can see where kind of these small almost branches, these protrusions growing off. This person has been clipping them into kind of small thin chunks, almost kind of like
Ask him what it is.
Celery. He looks back. says, "This is the blood of Os. It's something we've come to grow recently. It's what we're eating currently."
Right.
He seems oddly confused by your question of why, and kind of with the
Oh,
basket.
you just like, we've come to grow it recently, it's all we're eating currently. It sounds like I suddenly he started eating the blood of Os.
Yeah, I mean, you can be confused by this, but your kind of question confuses them in turn.
What did you eat before?
Perhaps it would be best if you spoke with Sethnet. They're the one who is supposed to deal with outsiders. And they kind of very clearly kind of walk a few paces ahead of you, trying to keep a bit of distance as they walk with a wicker basket of these trimmings from this strange fungal plant thing into Osairo.
They seem healthy and fine.
They seemed healthy, yes. But as you go in, all of you will pick up the kind of sickly smell of disease on the air. And as before, when you were last here, Corellia, there are buildings that are burning these bushels of this plant outside to kind of suppress the smell. And it seems now that they are basically kind of forming a kind of like partitioning off an area. There's an area where there are buildings that have been abandoned to the sick, and outside of it, anyone is healthy. Going through, you do see a few people you didn't who have a physical circumstance you didn't see before. Corellia, you will immediately think that perhaps these are survivors of the shell plague. You see Oseth where their bone covering is gone and leaves just kind of raw, scarred body. Some of them are clearly crippled by this. You see people with arms of this kind of raw flesh that do not work and are simply kind of held in a sling around the neck, or a leg that no longer functions, or stops just beneath the knee. These kind of things. Survivors of the plague, you think. And just to re-describe the Oseth in case anyone's forgotten, it is these people who have a exoskeleton that gives them almost a kind of skeletal appearance. Their heads are a bit skull-like. They are coated in this armor, and the shell plague, like its namesake, causes it to crumble away. So you see a few of these survivors. You also see what you didn't see before, a growth of this strange red, kind of waxy sheened fungal thing. Some of it is grown quite large. One of them you can see kind of on one of the mountain, kind of where the mountain slopes down into Osairo. There's a fairly large one that's about the size of a kind of a bit of a squat tree, and its branches grow and kind of like fractally spread into smaller and smaller splittings. You can see kind of.
I go over to one.
Sorry?
I go over to one and see if I can try and glean whether it has any like medicinal properties.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Give me a let's say medicine check.
Medicine. Oh,
Yeah.
Loki. It's an 8.
I think you go over and you kind of touch this thing, and it feels fairly hard to the touch. Maybe you kind of quickly sneak a small piece of someone who's cutting from these things. I will say the Oseth are largely trying to stay away from you as you come through this place. There's a certain amount of wariness around strangers. Perhaps I would say, Corellia, a wariness that wasn't present beforehand. They seem more nervous. But this stuff is kind of bitter and tough, and you're not sure if it has any medicinal qualities beyond that. Yeah, I would say an 8. You don't know. Eventually, sorry, what's up?
Just ask, just from a gameplay point of view, the dream that I had and the luck points that I spent, that valid before I rested?
No. What you
after I rested?
Your stuff
on a
kicks in when you
separate plane.
complete a long rest. So the points you spent, you regained when you woke up.
Excellent, thank you.
Cool. All right, so that's great. So, smell of disease, this strange red growth, Oseth avoiding you, some survivors of the Shale Plague, not many, I will say. Eventually, you are led to where you see just a tree stump used as a stool. Sethnet is sitting, talking with a few other Oseth. To describe him again, he's got this kind of bone protrusion, almost like a beard on a kind of like a pharaoh's sarcophagus that has been kind of grafted and shaped, and he has the carvings of ants on his forearms that marks him out as a kind of lesser nobility amongst the people here. As you approach, the Oseth kind of hurries forward, speaks to Sethnet, and he turns around and kind of stands up, and underneath his kind of skeletal face you can see his thin lips do twist into a kind of a soft smile.
Hold up my arms.
What, you do go to hug him? Sure, you hug his bony form. This is something culturally not really Oseth have, but he kind of gingerly places his hands on your back. I'm so pleased you could return to us. You did it. The wizard who came to us a few days ago has begun his work. You have my deepest thanks.
How successful has he been?
You can see, you don't even need to make an insight check. You can see there's a certain amount of nervousness as Sethnet looks back to a tent that stands out of place amongst the mud buildings here. That kind of immediately looking at, you can see that there is that the Oseth are staying away from this place enough so that even if they're going to somewhere beyond it, they will walk fully around it, not getting close. I know not. His magic is beyond me, but he said you would be soon following to help him with his work. You have our deepest thanks. He kind of thinks to himself for a moment. Come, there is someone I want you to meet. And he kind of looks to Ailey. You were the monk brought to us. Corelia helped you then, I recall.
She did. I owe her much.
How fare you, monk? Are you... how are the signs from the gods these days?
They are many and plentiful, though they need much reading. It weighs upon my mind. If you have any omens that I might help you with, they may help also guide my own troubles.
My people are beyond omens, I think, now. The omens have been and gone.
It's never
Anyway.
too late.
And Corelia, who is your friend? We've not had the... I've heard of your people, sir, referring to Barnlect, but I have not had the pleasure of meeting one before. He's talking to you,
Meet
Sam.
Barnlect. He's be okay. I gesture Barney forward.
Hello!
Okay, you peek your microphone.
Sorry.
Sure. Is there any customary actions that Barnlect takes, or do you just kind of wave?
Do I know the customary?
I mean, you know the water ritual. You'll have kind of dromad handshakes. You kind of experience a plethora of of ways to kind of show respect. Two people can show respect, so you can really pick and choose as you like. Your people are kind of, in a certain sense, kind of mercenary with their culture. They can really they pick and adapt based on their circumstances.
Can I choose the one that I think would be best that he would receive best?
Okay, you give him a neat
Go.
bow with your lengthy neck, and he returns it.
Lovely. Thank.
You should keep your beasts close, referring to your Camelon hairy lizard. They will not last long here if left unattended. And with them in tow, he begins to take you up the slope of the mountain to where you saw this kind of almost this tree of this blood of os fungal growth. As you approach the climb, you see 2 Oseth beneath it. They both move in kind of nigh perfect synchronized movements, and you see both of them swing a sword in their hand. They're kind of going through this kata of motions. Getting close, you can see there's something a bit different about the carapace of these Oseth. It is kind of more shrunken down, but you can see clearly harder, denser. It has undergone some process that has turned it from just kind of a convenient protection to a kind of living, breathing suit of plate mail almost. One of them has fairly similar markings to Sethnet. You see insects carved onto, you see ants carved onto his forearms, and a millipede that appears to have been kind of formed out of his, like the bone has been kind of raised somehow and then carved for a millipede, almost forms like a mohawk over his head. And beside him, the other one, you can see has a bit more kind of regal dignity to him. Is a little different. Harry, do you want to describe your character?
Yeah, regal dignity, people. Oh, I'm excited for this. He is, as you have already learnt, a bony boy. His sort of his bones have, his sort of exoskeleton has been formed.
A boner, if you will.
Exactly, has been formed into sort of almost like knight-like plates of armor. Like you can see it sort of interlocking a little bit over his stuff. He's got this sort of essentially just sort of Egyptian style loincloth on, very tasteful, just white with a little bit of trim around it. And he's got a big old dung beetle just plopped right in the middle of his head, right there. Or Liam, I know we had an argument about dung beetles versus scarabs. Have I got it wrong?
So dung beetles are a kind of scarab, but not all scarabs are dung beetles.
Actually, scarabs are kind of dung beetle, but let's not.
No, we had this discussion before.
Yeah, so he's got just a big old dung beetle, like
fly on that wall.
Okay, to be clear, not an alive dung beetle, like carved into the bone, which is just sticking out of his head. And he's also, as the other guy is, I assume, carrying a sword. His sword kind of looks like hardened white honeycomb has made it. I think that's the best description I can give it. But slightly more sort of lattice.
It's this similar kind of porous lattice to, you will notice, the blood of Os, although this is kind of a perfect hard white. So Harry, to tell you, the person beside you who is practicing going through your training, going through the same kata as you, is Basach. He himself does not have a sword like yours. It is just a kind of bronze work cleaver, effectively, but it's the best he has in terms of weaponry. Yeah, you see these two people practicing.
Is my volume really loud?
It's no, it's okay.
Oh, sorry, Sam was messaging something. I thought it was to do with me, but no, it's not.
You're
Never
good.
mind.
You're good. On the approach of Sethnet, both of you, having gone through this motion just again for the last hour, both stop. These are two warriors who were fortunate enough to make it out of the Gibis jungle recently and return to our fold. This is Basach, indicating the one with the bronze sword, and next to him, Kimeshet. This is someone who studied under me a long time ago. He is a noble soul. Kimeshet, this is Kirilia, the healer I spoke to you about, who has my knife.
Greetings. Oh, that's so just wonderful to meet you. I have heard so many just fantastic things about you. What? I fucking love it. Okay, let's not, shall we? I'm just trying not to be a plant guy who I've forgotten the name of, and it just melted.
That's literally what Sam just said.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I've heard so much about just the fantastic service you've been doing us. And I just sort of do a sort of little bow, and also an attempt at I don't know, what are their greetings? Do they have handshakes? Can I do handshakes?
Yeah, well, handshake is outside of your culture. Bow is appropriate.
Yeah, just sort of a little sort of groveling.
When
bow.
your hands are bones, like bumping hands together is kind of uncomfortable. So
yeah, I can imagine.
I'll bow
Return
back.
the bow.
He neatly bows,
Yeah.
and both of you try your best to return. What's Ailey doing? Can I ask, Grace?
Ailey is sort of she's doing her best not to be directly involved in the conversation.
Okay.
I know that's great role playing and
No,
really
no.
good for the dialogue.
Can you give me an insight check?
I'd love to. 16 plus 7 is 23.
7, goddamn. Okay, you're kind of hanging back from this bowing between Karelia, Barnlect, and Kimoshet. You see Basak, the other person who was swinging a sword next to Kimoshet. Upon noticing your group, very clearly like narrows his eyes in kind of distrust and scorn. And I think kind of looking at where this person is looking, you think it's because you are not Oseth, you are outsiders. Even to Karelia, this contempt extends. I would say that you hanging back have the chance to kind of notice that, because both of you are kind of hanging outside of this conversation.
So I detect hostility and suspicion towards outsiders?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. But that's not present in this particularly verbose Oseth.
Yeah, so far as I mean, Harry, you can tell me what the innermost thoughts of Kimoshet are, or tell Grace. But I don't.
I'm not fucking telling you shit.
I think it would be fair to say that Kimoshet is not contemptuous of the people he's greeting.
No, I'm grovelingly like.
Yeah, okay, Harry, I'm asking you. You don't have to attack me for asking what you're doing.
Is it your servant, sir? Kind of.
Yeah, it's very much your servants there. In fact, talking of which, I'm going to sort of like continue addressing them, and have I heard anything about the rest of them? Have I been told that they're coming?
I mean, you might have heard it mentioned that a monk came, and this wizard came through yesterday and began setting stuff up, and people found them very nervous, and he mentioned that this healer who had come here previously would be returning, and that he'd come with her at her request and with her blessing. To which they were
I am
very
also
pleased.
visibly a monk.
So yeah, those are the things you know.
Well, everyone else, I have not heard as much about you as about this, gracious healer, but it's fantastic to meet you all. In fact, I feel like I'm going to compose a poem in honor. Now, give me one moment. Well met, my friends. Here I stand, your humble servant, Kimoshet. I swear myself to your command, and Camel Boy, I like your hat. How does everyone respond?
Sethnet probably immediately turns to you alarmed when you say, "I swear myself to your command."
I didn't say that. I said, I stand here at your command. In the sort of like at your service.
Sure. Sorry, misunderstood. Okay. Yeah. How does everyone respond to this poem? By the way, Harry, you can have inspiration for. I was annoyed by Boney Boy, but you managed to salvage it there with the voice and the poem and so on. So you can have inspiration for your character introduction.
Barney replies very much. I would reply by, I can't clap my hands for I have a nub. I will like this, my appreciation, and doff the cap. Him.
I can't clap because I have a nub. It's like a kind of a lesser version of I have no mouth, but I must scream. Anyway.
Have a nub, but I can't clap.
Anyway, okay.
Ailey, if there's a moment of silence where we appreciate this thing, Ailey produces from inside a segment of her robe a tiny, very tightly rolled cigarette, and she says, "Here, a cigarette. I have made it, and I will destroy it with fire." then she tucks it behind her ear.
So this is terrible because cigarettes definitely don't exist, but I have to allow it because you did a poem. So you've got me there.
It is a haiku.
Cigarettes are now canonical, tragically.
Oh yes, very good. The classic haiku verse. No rhyme, no scansion. 575. Now it's not for me to say it's worse. I'd like to see all forms of poem thrive, but don't take this as disdain. I feel that they're for those of lesser brain.
Say your prayers to whomever you call out to in the night.
We're not going to get along, are we?
We are not.
Yeah, Harry. Okay, so Keemshet tries to initiate like a rap battle, but it doesn't quite work out. Sethnet is like, no, let's not. Keemshet is someone of passion for the arts, and I value him as someone who has retained a sense of Oseth tradition even in these times. Without our traditions, we are nothing. And kind of puts a bony hand on Keemshet's shoulder. Yes, he's a good pupil. Karina, can you give me an insight check?
Yeah, that's fast. Can I look at Keemshet and say, I really like your poems. Sadly, I don't know them.
Okay. And after that, can you
check.
an insight check, please?
Very good. I see you have great potential yourself. I'd be glad to accompany you on your poetry learning journey. He's not convinced.
Are you joining us?
I am. My eyes shine with love and hope.
Anyway, can Karina give me an insight check, please?
Insight. Ooh, 7.
Only 7. Actually, no, you can make this an advantage because you know Sethnet. You know him a bit.
11. Still not very good.
11. Okay. You think there's maybe just a sense of tiredness to Sethnet, but you know you can understand that with his station.
He seems sick.
You don't know. You don't think he's sick. Yeah, I mean, you helped kind of get the shell plague out of him before it really took root in him. So anyway,
What's happening to you? You feeling alright?
Yes, I'm fine. Keemshet, Basak, why don't you accompany both of us? I have something to discuss, and so far as I understand it, these three will be ingratiating themselves with Ilek soon. Kind of looks to you for confirmation. Okay, so you begin to head down towards this solitary tent of Keemshet's. You can almost kind of feel the kind of slightly scary aura coming from it that's pushing away the other Oseth. Oh god, Sam's turned into a grey splodge. Oh no, he's back. There we go.
Why does this keep happening?
I don't know, mate. Anyway,
he's been fine for me the whole time.
As you begin to approach, Sethnet will turn to Keemshet and Basak and say, I've heard there has been a certain amount of apprehension about the presence of Ilek here. He's talking to Basak and Keemshet kind of a bit away from the two. I want you to make sure this person is protected. This is an incredibly valuable moment for us, as the presence of a wizard who has come at the behest of someone who did us great charity. I want you to understand both that this is a charge to make sure that this person is unmolested in their labours.
Just Ilek?
Kyria as well. She is a valuable ally, but Ilek could do wonders for our people. You understand? Looks to kind of both of you.
Do I understand? Do I know anything about magic? I don't think so.
You don't know anything about magic. He's just said that you know you've got to basically prevent people from other Oseth from fucking with Ilek.
Sethnet, I mean, I leave these complicated matters of state for you. You know me. I have simple, plain, cultural, and noble interests. Your realm is beyond me. But if you say it is necessary, that's what I'll do.
Basuk adds in, I will do as you ask, noble Sethnet. As Sethnet turns away to lead the rest of the group, Basuk stays beside you, King Waset, and does turn to speak with you. This is not right. I do not think this wizard here can bring any good, King Waset. Do you not think so yourself?
No, why would you say something like that?
He brings strange magics that pervert the course of nature. Is it not our straying from decency that brought about our curses?
No, the curses were brought about by evil tribes descending from the mountains upon us in hordes.
What of the shell plague? Or the grey rot? You forget where you come from.
These things happen to they happen to civilizations, cities. That's it. We were driven from our house by raiders.
I would not think a man with such noble fare would be so dismissive of our people and our ways, King Waset.
By no means am I being dismissive of our people, our ways. They must be preserved above all else. But to suggest that refusing the help of a friend and a generous one seems foolish.
This is a temptation that could bring ruin once more to our people, and this time I fear we will not survive. With that, we're going to go to break, because some people are messaging me that they need the loop. So anyway, we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Anyone who's watching, stick around. See you in a moment. And we're back, and everyone's stood in the right place. Brilliant. Okay, so you've drawn... you've come closer to Ilek's tent. Sethnet has had these words with King Mashet and Basuk, and Basuk has spoken to King Mashet about his own views on this. You approach the tent. Sethnet turns to King Mashet and Basuk and will say, both of you, if you could stand outside and make sure they're undisturbed. I must return to my duties. King Mashet, you're in charge here, you understand?
Wait, sorry, just stand outside what? The tent? He's just taken us into the tent and now says...
No, he hasn't taken you into the tent. You are approaching the tent. He's asked you two to stand outside. No Oseth has gone in this tent yet.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Yes, of course.
Very good. Carillia, my deepest thanks again. Now I must return to my duties. But if you need anything at all, please come ask me. Do you still have the knife I gave you?
Yeah, I pull it out of the little pouch where I was keeping it.
That is good. Be sure to keep it with you always. And he departs to return to his management of Osairo.
I do love him. If you kill him, Liam, I'll cry.
Okay. I mean, that doesn't... I mean, if anything, that kind of
It's the closest thing I've got to human contact during lockdown.
Okay.
What I have with locks.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll try not to.
I'm safe.
We'll see what
Haley
happens.
doesn't love anyone.
Yeah. It's great. So the only way to protect yourself is to not care. Anyway.
I outmaneuvered Liam in advance. I know him of old.
Mm-hmm. So Carillia, Barnelect, and Ailey. Actually, sorry, Seth will also say, and try to make sure their animals aren't eaten. I understand that there's a problem with food. He kind of lowers his voice to just speak to Kimashet. I understand there's a problem with food right now, but these are our guests. We can't be raiding their things. You understand?
No, of course. No, of course not. Of course not. Sure. No harm shall come to them, nor their lizards.
Yeah. I would say being made conscious of this, you do have a bit of, the kind of the hunger gnawing at you in your stomach does kind of become a bit more present in your mind. The food here is, I would say for Kimashet, very, very thin.
But his noble chivalric sense wins over, and he does not eat the lizards.
I'm sure. I'm telling you, the circumstances are that
I get
they're increasingly running out of things to hunt from the mountain. The soil is not very sympathetic to the crops they've tried to grow here. Many people here now are eating the blood of Os, this fungal growth that was carried out of the Gibeah's jungle by someone who claims to be formerly a sculptor, Oseth. And it has since seems to have
I have
taken
a
root.
question.
What's up?
How long have they lived here? Like, this is like a properly old, like, city, right?
No. Osairo has been here for,
I know.
at this point, about 5 months, I believe.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, no, it's very rudimentary here.
Carry on.
Anyway, so where were we? Yeah, so that's to just let you know, Harry, where kind of the state of things are in terms of at least food. And people are a lot of people now, kind of their primary sustenance is eating kind of the trimmings of the blood of Os, which is not a particularly nice or appetizing thing to eat. But if you boil it in water for long enough, it becomes just soft enough to be chewable. Anyway, you, Kirilia, Barnlect, and Ailey part the curtain and enter this fairly large tent. 1 second, let me just get my notes up. So, probably the first thing that hits you when you come in here is the cold. You kind of briefly felt it blowing out of the tent entrance, but it's a lot chillier inside. And as you step, your feet disturb a very faint blue mist that is kind of moving gently across the floor here. The next thing is a strange, kind of slightly sickening sound you hear as your eyes are just beginning to adjust to the darkness within this tent. The sound of kind of offal and innards. Kirilia, you'll have heard this when you were, gutting an animal. Barnlake, probably similar circumstances for you. Actually, probably all of you will have had this experience before of the sounds of innards being outed. And as your eyes adjust, you do see the back of a hunched form of Ilek, and before him a cut open Oseth, a corpse. Its plates have been kind of neatly removed, but you can see that the shale plague has consumed most of their right arm and had begun to come across into their chest. Other things you see in here, just to get a few things out of the way. There, in one corner, seems to be a strange abundance of plants. And Ailey and Kirilia, looking at these things, I think you will notice a few of the strange pieces of flora that Lola carried with her when you met her previously, 3 weeks prior. Yeah, that's probably the other thing you notice. Actually, I will say you will see that this kind of faint blue mist is coming out. There appears to be a kind of a sensor that is just kind of placed on the ground that kind of is slowly emitting this blue mist that spreads across the floor and seems to make this place kind of uncomfortably cold. Thankfully, the cold has kept down the smell.
Ilek?
Yeah, what's up? As you're coming in, Ilek appears to not turn around, focus with his work. You can't see what he's doing. His back obscures it, but he appears to be working upon this body.
I will say to him, this is a most visceral wizardry, Ilek.
He kind of turns. You all made it. Kind of sound like blood all over his hands. You see he appears to be holding some kind of cutting tool. And kind of regards the three of you for a moment. How are you? How did you find Aban? Did you get what I asked for?
Did you know of the Guardian?
Kind of looks Guardian.
A beast lives there now. I think it is fed on the healing magic and grown bloated.
That is most unfortunate. Still, nothing I really have time to deal with now. I have I along with some assistance, I've begun my research into the shale plague and the Oseth it afflicts. To best understand the plague, I have sought out its origins not in the Oseth the people, but in Oseth the flesh. As you can see, I'm studying here. I'm beginning to make my way, but I am recognizing I'm hitting some limits, and I believe I will need the aid of Carillia and a magic that Ailey used previously to help me along my way, if you will.
This is within my power. But the people here reject you. Why is that?
Wizardry is a strange and often sinister thing. I make no bones about it. I cannot blame the ignorant for fearing what they don't know, of course.
Do they know that you do this? And I gesture to the corpse.
Yes, this was brought to me by the person who runs this place, Sethnet. This was at his request that this was brought to me. One of the afflicted.
Would you be in danger if the people found out?
I don't know. I'm not particularly concerned, if that's your question. The real magic hasn't yet begun. This is a period of study and preparation.
Nevertheless, have care.
I'll have care when magic is really involved. Although I thank you for your concern, of course. Barnelect, how are you? I just wanted to check in.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Yeah, I'm okay. You know, we a bit tired. It's been a long couple of days. But you know, we got the boys for you, and assuming they're all male.
No. 2 of them are women. One's a man.
2 of them are women. No, one's a man. Got the gang for you, and yeah, just having some fun.
Okay.
There is a slight what's it called? When you're not really there. There's a slight bit of that for Barnaby.
Sure.
Barnaby.
You're a bit dissociated. Okay. He says, well, I had a chance to recall this when I was making my preparations to leave Behel for a time. We discussed payment before you left for Wraithreach, but we never got to resolve it, and it feels only fair compensation for some of the tribulations you 3 have undergone. And he does produce a wooden box, 4 little feet, and open it up, and does begin to take out some coins. Carillia, you don't know what the hell this is. This doesn't make any sense to you. Like, he's pulling out a bunch of brass rings for no reason at all. I mean, maybe you saw some of these passing hands within the bazaar of Behel, but the notion of currency might be a bit beyond you currently. Up to you.
I've loved these. This is a very honourable gift.
He kind of smiles. He's going to give to all of you 25 coins, which you can mark as 25 Behel coins. So local currency, but it has some weights in the land of Alekvarzi.
How far does a coin go?
Barley, this is about a month's wages. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, he kind of hasn't. This is kind of technically you have been working for him since. You probably should be paid, if you're being paid at this point, a bit more than a month's worth, technologically, but no, not technologically, chronologically. But I don't know if that occurs to Barney in this moment when he's dissociating. But yeah, this is a month's wages for Barnelect that he hands out to all of you in turn. Ailey, I think Ailey will have some grasp of that. This has a certain amount of value. This can get you a few things.
I think I will say to him, if this is all the pay you can offer, I will not trouble to drain your coffers.
So I would say he has been taking these coins. He's been counting these coins out of a box that clearly contains more coins.
Oh, I know.
The rationing of funds is always essential in any conflict, whether it is one about to begin or one that is ongoing. We all must be careful with currency.
Indeed, and I push back his hand.
So you don't.
I don't
take
take the coins.
Okay.
No, and I say, you owe me, Alec, and I will be paid properly. Not at all.
Well, I won't insist upon you taking it if that's your view. Very well. Kind of looks to Corelia and Barnlex a bit like, okay. And then I guess slowly puts the coin purse back in the box and closes it and slides it away. Or, sorry, Sam, you can say something.
Hi. Have you just refused payment for all of us?
No.
That was not my intention.
I handed money to both you, Barney, and Corelia, but Ailey here seems to have concerns, which I can appreciate.
Do we have her bit?
Sorry?
Do we have her bit?
Well, I don't see why not. I mean, I'd be just as very well. I mean, you've done good service for me, Barney. Here, take this and hold on to this for locks until you see her, and you can give it to her if. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to bring up bad memories. Look, she's a tough one. I'm sure she's fine.
Good guy, Barney, guilt tripping and extorting literal refugees.
Well, Ilec's not a refugee. Well, he's not really a refugee.
He's different us anyway.
Yeah, but presumably he's trying to help the refugees, so it would be going to them otherwise, wouldn't it? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
No.
He's not giving them. He's not feeding them like pills made of money, is he?
Well,
anyway, Kimachet is outside, so you can't have this.
It's his war chest.
And you'll notice I'm not doing a posh accent. This is a very normal person accent, not posh at all. So I'm not in character as Kimachet right now.
All right.
Don't know if anyone noticed.
Anyway. Come, please, with a bloody hand. He has handed you coins that now have blood on them because he hasn't cleaned his hands. Please sit. There are a few kind of cloths kind of about the place that give a bit of floor coverage. Although you are mostly sitting on kind of gravel from the mountainside, so it's not very comfortable. But you three do sit. As I say, I've begun my labours.
My hands of blood, though.
Sorry?
I wipe my hands of.
You could be cleaning the blood off your coins while you're sitting there.
Thank you.
I have begun my
literal
research.
blood money is quite a.
I will say this first and foremost, for your sake, Corelia. The Oseth can be cured. Of this, I have renewed confidence. Not that I wasn't confident in my magic before, but now that you've procured the things I need, I have begun my studies. Lola is here, aiding me, and she has a great knowledge of both botany and physiology. Now, I don't expect all of you to know what those words mean, but just take it from me that her expertise is just a great expertise in lobotomy, Barney. Yes. However, Ailey has demonstrated a medicinal magic, and Corelia has a gift that few do, and these are going to be essential, I believe, in the coming days of research. So, I believe there's nothing more to it, but for us to get to work. Barnlake, you will have to entertain yourself in the meantime. I would advise for you to keep away from the area where they're keeping the sick. Keep yourself safe. Not everyone here is, I think, so trusting of outsiders at this point. So, you're free to stay here in your free time. But, yes. There's nothing you can do to help us directly with this. You understand?
Oh, that's what you're implying. Okay, I'll sit here and twiddle my thumb.
Brilliant. Thumb singular. Very good. Well.
Rolls down here.
I'm really sorry. And unless there's anything else anyone wants to ask of Ilek, he will begin to go through some of the processes he needs your help with, Ailey and Corelia. In the meantime, Kimoshet, you are standing outside along with Basuk. You have noticed a few Oseth have gathered, kind of sitting in one of the buildings around a clay pot in which they are boiling blood of Os for another kind of horrible meal. And you can quite clearly see that they are eyeing the 2 camels and hairy lizards that are tied to a post near Ilek's tent. You could probably deduce that they are hungry.
Are the lizards between us or
so
behind
it's effectively
us?
the camels, the 2 camels and the lizards are effectively next to you, and then there's a stretch of ground that most Oseth are avoiding because they don't want to go near Ilek and his creepy magic. And then these Ilek that are eyeing up the animals are just a bit beyond that.
All right. I'm not doing anything yet. I mean, it's not illegal to look at a lizard.
Yep. Sure. You can see some of them are talking amongst themselves, looking back to each other. If you don't do anything, eventually a couple of them do get up and begin to walk towards the tent. You can see they're a bit nervous at first approaching Ilek's tent, but as they kind of cross the kind of invisible thresholds people's fear has made, they begin to strive with more purpose, and they're not really walking towards you or Basuk, they're just walking towards the animals. They begin to get close, and you can clearly see they're intending to unlash one of these animals.
Hey, hold up there. Just, stay away from those creatures. They're, unpredictable beasts, and I wouldn't tangle with them. Additionally, I've been tasked with guarding them, so...
The one that you think you saw kind of egging the people on, who's leading these 2, will turn to you. Move aside, Kimoshet. We're hungry. I cannot eat blood of us again for another night.
Listen, the man in that tent is, powerful and important beyond any of us, and he has asked me to look over these lizards. Now, if you'd like to tangle with him, then so be it. But I really don't think it's a particularly good idea.
We hear this?
You're kind of talking inside through a thick tent. You can give me a perception. If Barney's kind of sitting it out, you can give me a perception check on disadvantage if you want to maybe overhear this.
Finally, another Harry and Sam team up, because that went well. I got a 5. I got 5.
5, yeah, you don't hear this. So this person will speak. I don't fear the wizard, Kimoshet. If he crosses my path, I'll skin him and eat him too. I'm fucking hungry.
Damn.
Now, you may not fear the wizard, but the wizard is, first off, a guest here. Secondly, I am entrusted in protect him and the lizards. So, if you wish to get to the lizards, you will have to go through me.
On you saying that, Basuk will reach out and put a hand on your shoulder. And goes, would you serve the interests of these outsiders, these strange people, to your own people, Kimoshet? Let them eat. They are hungry. They are your people.
I'm aware they're hungry. I, too, am hungry. I have not eaten the lizards yet because I recognize that these people have come to help us.
I say, as you are turning to talk to Basuk, these 2 are going to basically try to just walk past you to unhook one of these things.
I'm going to put out a hand to stop them. Okay. Please don't. I genuinely... I'm begging you at this point. Don't.
He strikes you in the face. And that's cocked. You take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as he strikes you.
Can't I? What's it called?
You could parry this. He rolled low enough that you could parry this.
Can I parry this?
Yes. Are you parrying it with your sword? You get to draw. Or you can just grab his fist.
Can I do it with my hand?
Yeah, you can just grab his fist. So he goes to swing to punch you, and you grab it. but this person was clearly going for your jaw.
Do not touch the lizards, or I will have to put you down.
Give me an intimidation check. I'll allow this on advantage.
Sorry, it's kind of hard to get these dice out because I packed them so much into this box. 1 second.
You can pack them all up.
Right, yeah. I don't think he's intimidated.
I have a question about luck points
Sup.
and whether or not, because the lizards and the food are mine, I can't see them or know what's happening.
What do you mean? As in, do your luck points give you a kind of a sense of them?
Can my luck points help Harry here?
It's a bit too estranged from you.
I'm
at this
re-rolling
point.
one of those with my initiative that I got.
Your inspiration. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
14, 15.
15. Okay, I'm going to roll a wisdom save against it. You lock eyes with this person as you are still holding their fist, and you pretty much in that moment know you need to either back down or reinforce this with force. And by the way, I would say, given your rank amongst these people, you do have the means to dole out like capital punishment and so on.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch him in the face.
Give me an attack roll.
I think I have an extra thing. You do.
You
deal bludgeoning.
You do 1d4 because your hands have been conditioned to be kind of spiky. Be kind of like tough and spiky.
19.
Yeah, you crunch him in the face. Roll damage.
1d4 plus nothing. Plus your strength modifier. Sick. Plus 3. That's a 3 plus 3, 6.
6. Okay, you fully swing and hit this person square.
Do I know this guy's name?
Yeah, this is Sek. They're just kind of fairly bullish Oseth.
As I do this, I go, Sek, please don't do this.
Yeah, you strike him in the face and he falls to the ground, and you kind of blood begins to escape from one of his nasal slits. She kind of touches and recoils back a bit. His friend picks him up. Sek kind of glaring at you, spits blood, but they both begin to walk away.
Sick. I scared them off. Without even a single verse of poetry being said. Sorry, yeah, let's keep going.
Poetry in motion.
Sek, let's get your thing up. Sek walks away with his friend. After a while, they they clearly take their food. Their blood of os is like boiled to the point where it's consumable now, and they walk away to take it elsewhere. After they kind of depart, a few moments later, he's clearly been thinking, Basak will speak. What if he had got back up and came at you again?
Well, then I would have caught his fist once again and punched him in the face once again.
What if he came at you with a weapon?
Well, then I would have caught his weapon, punched him in the face, and he would have gone down once again.
Maybe at some point you're going to have to choose between your people and strangers.
Yes, well, right up until that point, I'm going to do my best to serve both of them at once.
This is a heck of a character.
Can you give me a persuasion check, please?
Invested.
9. 1 second, I don't know what. I think it's +1. It's +1.
Okay.
10.
Sure. You say those words. You can kind of visually see that Basak is not particularly convinced, although he doesn't unlash the animals himself. So at this point, we're going to enter into doing things kind of day by day, of Ailey and Kirilia helping Ilek with kind of doing his magical investigations here. You're all free to have, kind of to duck out and of roles and so on, and have conversations amongst your characters. I will have Kimachet and similarly Barnelect making rolls to make sure that the animals aren't eaten, or you can choose to have them be eaten by the community here. It's up to you. People here certainly are starving.
How long do we have to stick around here for?
Well, you're not going to be standing. I mean, you are essentially guards posted, so you may start doing shifts with Basuk or some other warrior caste who came out the jungle. But at this point, for this day, I think we should do Kirilia and Ailey's first rolls. Kirilia, I'm going to have you just make a base psychic check, and you can put in spell slots to increase a hidden bonus to that. And basically, what I'm doing is you keep making checks until you reach a certain total. I haven't told you, is the idea. And then, based on how many checks you have to do to reach that point, that's going to be how many days of investigation you're doing, which may have impact given you're on a timeline here. Does that all make sense?
Pardon? No.
Does that not make sense?
So I roll the dice, and then if I don't get a high enough score, I can add.
No. Before you roll, you can choose to add a spell slot level, and you can push yourself if you want to give yourself higher level spell slots, such as 4th or 5th. Although that does come with the risk normally associated with those, to benefit the roll. That's the same for Ailey, and Ailey will be making a. Well, I would say normally Arcana, but you could possibly argue me around to a different role. As the main thing you're doing is using your Sacred Territory to help with investigation here.
I have investigation itself.
Investigation is more like looking through an archive or trying to find a route out of something or those kind of things. I don't think it quite applies here. Well,
even though you called it an investigation.
Yeah.
It seems like
no, I know you're right. I mean, that's okay. Fine, I will allow investigation. No, you've got me there. I used the word investigation. So, anyway,
I also want to make my role harder rather than easier.
Really?
I want to use my Sacred Territory also to highlight magical devices in the room and examine them. I am not, in my first role here, at all interested in making the investigation easier.
Okay, but you're not interested in making it harder. You're just adding an extra effect to Sacred Territory.
I just imagine that Ailey will have a harder time helping the investigation, given that she's not focused on it.
Okay, sure.
My goal is to identify what technology Ilek has, to see what is worth stealing or examining while he sleeps.
Okay, sick. Sure. So this is so we're doing the first roll for the day you've arrived. Shannon, do you get what it is you're doing? Are you burning any spell slots for this, Shannon?
Yeah. If I want to burn a high level spell slot, will the negative effects incurred only affect me? Or...
You will suffer the normal consequences of using a 4th or 5th level spell slot if you use those spell slots.
No, the normal consequences. Oh golly, should I risk it anyway? I thought I could just convert psi points and then.
Yeah, so on a very very unlucky 4th, if you use a 4th spell slot, if you're incredibly unlucky, or if you use a 5th slot and you're kind of unlucky, you can die. It is you pushing yourself beyond your kind of exertion limit.
Do it, Shannon. Do it. Come on.
This is so fascinating. I don't even have access to 5th level spell slots without gambling with my sanity and safety with my horrible staff.
Yeah. Well, this is the nature. Every psychic has. If they use spell slots above their ability, then it hurts them.
Wish I knew where in the.
It should just
be.
Be.
That, but I can't bother to look, so I'm going to risk it.
Do you want me to look it up for you? Because it would be a bit crummy for you to die from this on a really unlucky roll. Kirilia. Sorry about this. Anyone watching? Just slowly get this figured out. So yeah, it's the second entry, psychic overexertion. If you look at your trait.
Oh yes. Okay. Oh. Okay. I love O's. You know what? What's my maths? I'm gonna go for a 5th level spell slot, maybe. Yeah. Yes, I am. Ooh, sorry.
Okay, I'm being perfectly clear. You can die from this.
If I use, I don't think I can, because the maximum damage I could occur here would be 30, right?
Yeah, what's your hit points? Oh yeah, it's 36.
37,
true,
maybe.
True. All right.
37, you upped me in the second game.
In this
'cause I
narrative
sucked that guy up.
in this narrative circumstance, like I may have other effects as well from you doing it. You might have like a psychic hangover or something. I just want to be clear. This
That's
exists.
fine
So
with
that you
me.
can have it
I've
in combat.
survived many a hangover.
All right. Okay.
I'm gonna
Can I see?
go crazy and go for a level 5.
Okay. Sure. I'm just getting all the dice necessary. All right. So then, can you give me a psychic check? And Ailey, can you give me an investigation check? And Ilek's got to make his Arcana check as well.
Can I also sync spell slots into this?
Yes, you can put spell slots into increasing your Arcana, separate from
Rad.
buffing your
I'm going to
territory.
spend my second level spell slot then.
So just got to write down some numbers here. Ilek did very well, rolled a 17 for his first Arcana roll. Okay, and all right. So
I rolled 11.
you rolled 11. What is that? Adding your bonuses, and what spell slot are you?
Yeah, I rolled a 7 with +4, and then I spent a second level spell slot.
Okay, so that's 11. Okay, so and then Corellia, can you give me your roll, please?
I rolled a 15.
You rolled a 15. Okay.
I got a 15 overall. I got a 15 overall.
Okay, cool. Can you lower? I did a pretty bad roll. Can you reduce your maximum hit points by 14, please? Terrible roll there. You begin to do your work, and you know that Corellia is kind of possessed of a fairly charitable spirit. I think we've had to say at this point, Ailey. So when it comes to her using magic to examine this body, and at some point a rather nervous young Oseth is brought in by Sethnet, but you can detect there's a kind of a bit of an air of bravery to them. They lie down, and Ilek begins to do some kind of investigation, and you think, given what you put in and what you rolled here, Ilek is essentially trying to investigate by using psychic magic and Ailey's magic and his own magic to make comparisons between a body that doesn't have the shell plague and a body that does and has died from it, as a way to kind of illuminate things by finding a comparison between the two. Corellia, with her kind of her keenness, brings forth her might in a way. Do you think Corellia has ever used a 4th or 5th level spell slot, Shannon? No. Plunges herself into the work at risk of harm, and there's more than one point where you see a trickle of blood come from her nose, or she turns away to cough blood in the corner. But you can feel the exertion from her such that it is almost like the air shimmers around her, and perhaps the shadows creep slightly as she exudes this psychic energy for an extended period to aid in the investigation. All of you make fairly good progress. In the meantime, Sam, what's Barnlex getting up to?
But I mean, am I still in the? Sorry, too loud. Am I still in the? Am I still in the tent?
It's up to you
Just
if
like
you want to stay
watching.
in the tent or not. You can stay and watch
I might.
Ilek rooting around in innards and Corellia coughing blood and clearly veins bursting on her head as she holds these two bodies, and the shadows around you begin to move. Or you can chill out outside where it's sunny and more calm. Up to you entirely.
As I go to leave, is anybody? Did I just cast? Not cast. What am I talking about? Could I just It's fortunate one, isn't it, for everyone? They can spell slot.
I think you can
Not spell slot. Sorry, what's happening to my brain? An extra die.
Yes, you can use your luck to aid them if you wish. Sure.
I
would say this is relevant enough to you that yes, you can use it here.
Okay, lovely. I'm gonna, as I'm going, I'm just gonna be like, oh, good luck, you guys. I'm just gonna get some fresh air and just think as I'm walking out, I just think to myself.
Just looking at abilities, I don't think you can buff other people. Fortunate Son, you can buff yourself, or Unfortunate One, you can debuff others, but you can't confer the benefit to others. Sorry, just wanted to check that. You can't do that with your rules.
Right, then that's fine. I will just say good luck, and they won't have luck. I'll just go out and so just go out and speak. Is our new friend outside?
Yeah, so stepping outside, you'll see that Kemashet and Basuk are there. I think even you can pick up. There's a slight kind of angry, tense energy between the two. But well, actually, maybe Barnlake wouldn't notice that. I don't know. Up to you.
Hello.
Basuk
I'm just gonna have
anything.
chat with Kemashet and the other one.
Sure. So you tried to, and Basuk just kind of flat out like, I mean, ignores you in that way that is clearly kind of annoyingly very like passive aggressively conscious of you. Like he's always kind of glancing at you, glaring, but will refuse clearly to say anything. Yeah. Harry, does Kemashet talk to this charming drow man about anything?
Well, he's not going to be rude.
But okay, I mean, as in, do you have any?
Well, I'm waiting for the drow man to come and talk to me.
Yeah, he's come outside. He said hello.
Oh, good morrow. Not really sure what that word means, but I think I've heard someone say it. Hear it about.
Yeah, I've heard it on the circuit before.
Yeah.
How are you guys this morning? What time is it?
It's midday.
Well,
midday.
Apart from the crushing hunger and the general struggle, very well. Yes. How about you? Do tell me. How about you? I'm curious. Do you even get thirsty? What with being a camel?
Actually, no. I haven't been. I mean, I still drink. I drink very little, so I still struggle with finding water, and sometimes I do feel thirst. Especially when crossing the desert and you have very little water around you. Sometimes my supplies get low. But yes, no, not recently, I must say.
Oh no, that's very good to hear. We have plentiful water and stuff here, right?
No, I mean, people are being rationed and are eating the worst food possible to live on, like just at a barest subsistence level.
No, that's good.
You're borderline famine.
Yes. So it is an unfortunate, misconception of, my people that since we do look somewhat like walking skeletons, that we do not need to eat or drink. But as you can see, we do. And
but would you guys like a little bit of water?
Oh, well, I would. Refer to my friend. Am I going to say it right? Basset, like the Basset Hound.
No, Basuk. It is Basukh.
The Basuk Hound.
My friend Basuk here. I'm sure would be as grateful of it as me. And personally, I'm not so thirsty right now. Basuk, would you take a drink of water from this kind man camel?
Are you asking me? I mean, I think.
Yeah, I'm asking him if he's going to take some water.
Well, it's up to Sam. I mean,
hey, look, if you guys would like, I don't have that much, if I'm perfectly honest. But if you guys are really struggling, and look, you guys are standing out here all day in the heat. Question mark?
I mean, it's not that hot. It's kind of, kind of summer turning autumn.
You're still standing up all day. Why don't I get you a little bit of water? I do. I go over and get like a.
You are free to tell me what your character
Or
does,
pour
by the
out
way. I just want to
some-
be clear here. Like, as a dungeon master, I just kind of set the scene. Sure. You go over to.
So is Basak saying nout?
Sorry. Basok
Basak saying nothing.
He's not said anything. You've caught that he's glared at you, but he has not said anything.
Well, I'm just gonna. I'll just get a little bit of water out and into. I imagine we have a couple of like little wooden bowls or something, and just pour a bit out for them and send it to them or offer it to them.
Sure. Okay. So to be clear here, is this water ritual? Are you trying to have a kind of a formal thing? You're just sharing water with these people. Okay.
I'm just sharing water.
Okay. Sam, can you turn down your mic a little bit more? Sorry, you keep peaking.
So I'll move it further away from me, but
Yeah, I think
it's
you just lean back, you'll be all right. It just sometimes gets a little loud. Anyway, sure. So Barn likes to procure some water from one of the water bags hanging off a camel's saddle. Pours it with both. Harry, I assume Chemoset takes the water and drinks it. Basuk kind of stares at it and kind of just looks ahead, 1,000-yard stare, ignoring it. Is Barnleg insistent at all upon it, or do you just kind of?
Oh, I'll just go. I'll just pop it. I'll just pop it down near him and say, "Well, it's here if you want it."
All right.
Now, Basil, it is not polite to refuse a generous gift like that. Surely you are, thirsty.
Give me a persuasion check.
Fuck me, 8.
8. Okay. Basuk, you catch under his breath while Barnlect is kind of turned away. I could not drink the water brought by these strangers, for just as surely it could be poison. You should be more careful.
I catch that. Did you say?
Sorry.
Did you say? Did you say I caught that?
Barnlect does not catch this. He says this under his breath, just so that Chemoset hears.
I think it's time for you to examine your implicit biases there. No, I don't say that. Sorry.
Surely, Basak, you would stop these thought-terminating cliches. Please, I beg of you. Anyway, sorry.
Just say
he does not drink.
Sorry.
Basak does not drink.
It's there if you want it, and just wanted to say thank you guys, and you guys have a good day. I just walk back in.
You walk back in. Okay, you go in and hear kind of the squelch of organs, and see this strange magic exuding from Ailey, and Ilek kind of digging wires into flesh, and it's all a bit like it's a bit horrifying.
I'll sit and
okay.
Watch and roll, and I might be able to influence something.
Sure. Later on, Lola enters the tent. Looks both Corellia and Ailey. Oh, hello. It has been a long time. How are you? I think this is what his accent was like.
Can I talk when I'm doing my mantra?
You're kind of wrapping up these things at this point. So you're free to talk.
I'll say, I'm well.
Oh, that is good.
That's what I'll say.
And you, Corellia, how are you?
I think it takes me a minute to remember how to talk. I look at just the mess around the room and the horror, and I say, "I'm doing pretty swell."
Yeah, she will kind of, seeing that you are kind of, you've got a few bruises from where blood vessels have burst and so on. She'll kneel down and kind of puts her hand to your head and kind of moves your head around. You are injured. What is wrong with you? Can I help?
I mean,
Lola is highly skilled with medicinal plants. I don't know if that will help you, Corellia. But she may be able to help you here.
Welcome any help.
Very well. I will tend to you. Lie down here. I will say at this point as well, so that the young, undiseased Oseth kind of has come and gone at this point. They've been let out after their usefulness. After they were done with by Elec.
I afford to take a break. Is that?
Yeah, you're kind of. We've got to evening at this point. I'm saying things are kind of wrapping up for the day. Lola will turn to Ailey. Do you still have your love of tea?
I have been waiting to meet someone sufficiently civilized.
So it has not been a good 3 weeks for you. Since we.
I cannot recommend the hospitality of Thype.
Thype, I have not been there. Sure. She is going to. I'm going to make a medicine check for Lola on Corellia. Very good roll. Okay. At this point, as you begin to share tea with Lola, can I have Ailey and Corellia make first wisdom saving throws to endure the psychological circumstances, and then Corellia, you can make a Constitution saving throw on advantage because Lola got 25 on her medicine check.
Okie dokie.
I have a question.
Yep. What's up?
Is Ilek present?
He is here. He is sitting. He's kind of winding up. You can see he's got basically kind of just a flat piece of stone, which he is using another small stone to kind of essentially scrawl the kind of magical algebra effectively into. He's been noting things down throughout the day. These symbols elude you in terms of their meaning. And sorry, you used your second level to detect magical objects here, didn't you? There's a lot of things. Oh yeah.
To be clear, I put a second level spell slot into succeeding. I also used a second level territory to.
Yeah, you can do. You've got more than one second level spell slot, so you can do both.
Yes, I'm just clarifying that I did both.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, I do want to note here that that ability makes these kind of mandalas of information appear around magical objects that anyone can see. So it's not obscure that you're doing this. I just want to be clear that you know that.
No, I'm relying on the fact that Ilek may trust me and is extremely focused.
Okay, he will know.
I'm not telling him whether or not the mandalas are supposed to be there. It's just
sure. I think the only time we ever saw it, the mandalas appeared, so that's fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm going to have him roll an Arcana to see if he knows something's a bit sus. Okay.
Wouldn't it be like an insight thing to read my behavior? Because he has no evidence to suggest that
he's reading
this is
the magic.
Unusual. But
he's reading the magic to know what the magic is doing, to be clear. And then he can reverse engineer from that you may know what you're doing. You may not.
Okay, that's fair enough. I don't think it's unreasonable for him to figure out what's happening. But it'd be another thing for him to, from that, distrust me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he is a guy who's interested in magic first and foremost, so he's going to want to know what the magic is doing before the motivation behind it.
If he asks, I'll just talk to him about it.
Sure. Sam, did you say you want to know what he rolled?
Yes, please.
He rolled a 13, which means he got a 23 Arcana check.
Okay. Yeah.
Why do you want to affect that?
Do we want him to? I'm a little bit lost. Do we want him to?
I don't.
I would say at this point the causal effects of this are vague enough that I don't know if your luck would necessarily apply here. I mean, you can if you want. It's up to you.
I would say apply it to the role where he figures out that I'm going to try and steal his shit, or at least steal his knowledge. The one where he figures out that I have powers is not the one that we're concerned about.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, so your mandalas. Previously you used this. You got one on his body, a few things on his person. This time, the room becomes a grove of these mandalas. The objects on the floor emitting this cooling smoke. Some of these devices that are set up around the place that these wires are extending from, that some of which have been inserted by needle or just wiring into the Oseth corpse here. There's many kind of packs and supplies as well here that are that do light up. Although curiously, there's a very large bag that doesn't. That you would think, given all the other stuff here, has at least some magical shit in it. There's one large bag that doesn't, strangely.
shielding, perhaps?
Could be. You don't know. You may recall that previously he had a magical arm that didn't come up with your with this spell. When you later learned that it had a kind of magical shielding over it.
Most interesting.
Yeah. So those are the things together. There's a lot of stuff on his both and on his person as well. Yeah, you would. Okay. You saw previously that he had transplanted his own. He had this very short arm. He's transplanted that onto Nook and has Nook's arm now. A mandala appears on the forearm of this arm as well. And you suspect
Like the whole thing?
well, previously, when you did this last and it happens again, this mandala appears on his chest. Another one appears kind of wrapping over the arm, as it were.
The entire arm?
The forearm.
Like the entire attached part?
The forearm of this attached arm.
Almost like the part that was foreign to his body.
I wouldn't say so, really.
I'm imagining that it was...
So previously his arm was like a couple of inches long, and then it was just a hand. So really having the whole arm with like an elbow joint and everything is a new thing.
Yes, but like all of the part that's been attached to him is covered by the mandala, or only part of it?
There is a mandala specifically centered around the middle of his forearm of that arm.
Ah, I see. Very interesting. Okay.
Okay. But yeah, there's a lot of magical stuff here. What did you get for your wisdom saving throws? Sorry.
Oh, I crit.
Oh, sorry. Sam, is Barney staying in here for quite a while then? Okay, can Barney give me a wisdom saving throw as well then?
Oh no!
Is this save against horror?
Yes.
Or something?
This is
Nice.
the mental taxation.
It's very appropriate in the Ailey crit completely.
Yes.
She's just
Shanna, what did Corellia get?
Can I confirm for me it was a wisdom and a constitution?
Yeah, you're making a wisdom and then you're making a constitution on advantage because
it was
Lolo's giving you medicine.
19 for both.
19 for both. Wow. Okay, and what did Barnlet get?
2.
2?
22.
Sorry, is that 22?
22.
Okay, cool. All right, God, all did very well. Okay, Ailey, Ailey is just stone cold, doesn't mind. Corellia, meddling with life. Really, if you just perceive the life flow and stuff, it's easy to kind of estrange yourself from the gore, the viscera here. Barnlet, you're a bit checked out. You kind of just, that's a nice squelch.
Talk of the baby elephant is playing in the background of his head. The one like, that song.
Yeah, we're gonna get a copyright strike now. Okay, you've done very well on the first day. Let me just check my notes if there's anything else that happens. Okay, and it comes to the point of night. Some food is kind of dropped at the door of this place, and Illick reaches over and pulls it in. It's very meager rations of essentially it's blood of os soup. It's water that's been boiled with this stuff inside of it, which gives the water a slightly bitter taste, and the blood of os is kind of like it's like eating flavorless rhubarb that hasn't been properly cooked down. It's kind of like that. It's grisly. What are your sleeping arrangements? Because Illick fully lies down next to a partially dissected corpse and prepares to make himself go to sleep. But that might not be comfortable circumstances for the rest of you. It's also really cold in here. So he pulls a blanket over himself but doesn't provide some for anyone else. He is exhausted, by the way, I shall say.
What's the
he's worked
weather
hard all day.
like outside?
I mean, you could just sleep under the stars. It's not cold enough that you could. It's not so cold that you could safely sleep outside.
In
Also,
time.
can't find his accommodation.
Sorry, you haven't spoken to Seth Ned about it.
Can I?
Yeah, sure, you can go find him. Sure, going to speak to Seth.
I go.
Oh, sorry, what's up, Sam?
I go. I assume the camels are asleep and Hairy Lizard are sleeping. Can I just
Yeah, sure.
lean against a camel and go to sleep?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, you can absolutely sleep with the animals. Good way to stay warm. Kurita, you go to find Seth Nets. My apologies. We he kind of looks around. I mean, there's plenty of people sleeping outside here. We don't have we haven't made enough buildings yet to house everyone at this point, and I can't kick someone out to let in strangers. You understand?
Oh, of course. Are you staying?
I will be. It'll be a while before I go to sleep, but I will be just sleeping by a fire.
How does he look? How does he seem? Is he very stressed?
Give me another insight check if you want, but I won't let advantage on this time.
Okay. That's a 17. I'm using the elf dice you got me, by the way.
Oh, nice. 17. He looks tired. There's a greyness to him that wasn't there before. With the increase of people here, his burdens have increased. So just circumstances are draining on him. You get the sense that he could use a win for once. Yeah.
I reach out and up his bony face.
He almost flinches
And
as you
I
accept
wanna
force, but then
say-
accepts the touch. Yeah.
We're gonna win this. We're gonna cure this plague.
Okay, you can just give me a flat charisma check if you want.
Okie dokie. Oh, it's quite a good check. 21.
Okay. Sure. He kind of just closes his eyes and puts his hand against your hand on his face. You're most kind, Corellia. I have things to take care of. I hope you can see yourself getting some rest. And kind of, very, a bit stiffly, kind of walks away.
Loves me. We're in love.
Sure. I mean, if you want to do a relationship with a Seth, that you can, I guess.
We all want it.
Anyway.
We all want it.
So what's Ailey doing? Lola kind of sleeps in the corner amongst her own things, amongst the plants. There's a little space here for her in Ilex tent. It's fairly large, I should say. You're not going to be cramped sleeping in here.
I still think I'm going to make a campfire and sleep near the lizards and near the tent.
Sure. Okay. I will say that just for the extension of experience, should we say that Corellia returns and beds down next to this campfire with Ailey. Oddly similar to how you both talked next to a campfire when you first met at this place, maybe even in a similar spot. So, it comes to night. Is anyone staying up, keeping watch, any of those kind of things, or are they just resting? It's been a fairly taxing day.
I do have a nighttime escapade, maybe.
Okay. Do you want to tell me what it is?
Well, first, do I get to make any kind of check to determine the functionality or purpose of specific interesting things within the tent based on the mandalas I perceived?
Give me an Arcana check.
17 plus my bonus, which is 2, I think, means a 19.
Okay, so on a 19,
19, yes.
there's the things you can intuitively, kind of reason, like the object that's emitting this cold smoke probably just forever emits cold smoke until you turn it off. Some of the devices that Ilek has been hooking up to the body here does not. You could reason that there is some kind of purpose of analysis, and some of these things do kind of sync up with the kind of medical information provided by your sacred territory. You find beyond that, a lot of things are in bags or in containers, so you can't see them to really kind of gauge much from their appearance. Arcana wise, I mean, I think you will, looking at the information on the mandalas, you don't speak you don't read the language, you haven't learnt it, but I think you can see from the kind of difference of chunks of it, you think there's a fairly diverse range of different objects here for a lot of different applications, and you might do it that some might be for conflict, Some might be for research, some might be for convenience, those kind of things.
Okay, I'm going to wait until other people appear to be asleep,
Okay.
and I'm going to go into the tent.
Sure. Before that happens, Harry, Sethnet will later approach you and Basuk. He comes. It's tired. Sun's already gone down. There's a bit of kind of torchlight providing illumination around, and the moon and the stars. Kimishets, Basuk, I'm relieving you of your posts for today. Thank you for staying outside. No problems, I hope. Oh, sorry, just got to roll something here. Basuk will pretty much immediately cut in before you can speak, and say, "No, no one attempted to go into the tent, so perhaps we could put to better use tomorrow."
Wait, sorry, that was what's his name?
That's Basuk.
Can I insight that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh shit! What's my insight? 17.
17. Okay. I was saying on a 17. You kind of look over to him. He's definitely getting in ahead of you to kind of shape that you did punch someone in the face to just push them away. He's not. He's technically also not lying. No one was trying to get in the tent. Someone was trying to take one of the animals here.
Oh, I thought someone had snuck in when I wasn't watching, and he was lying about it.
Oh, you don't infer that from his words. You don't think he's lying. He's bending the truth.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna go along with it. Yes, no, nothing significant to report.
Very well. Both of you get some rest then. Yes. He kind of, you can see he's reached the end of the day. He's very tired. He's distracted. He kind of goes.
Listen, very briefly, are you sure of the safety of our guests overnight?
Is Basuk here, or are you asking this as
aside? Yeah.
You asking this as an aside? He kind of looks back. I thought with the arrival of new people, there might be some irritation amongst the people here. But if there's been no disturbance today, then I do not think they'll try anything at night. They did last night.
Some tension, and I feel better safe than sorry.
Tension? What tension? Between you and Basuk, or
sorry?
Between you and Basuk, or someone else?
No, not between me and Basuk. I just, I get the impression that some may have designs upon our guests or their pack animals. I've caught the odd look, and what looks like some plotting.
Very well. Shall I get Basuk back and have you both stay outside tonight and keep watch in turns, or I can find someone else?
No, listen. I'm happy to do it myself. No need. Basuk has had a long day. I'm very happy to share the watch with them if you think best.
Looks back to them. If that is what you think is best, Kim said. But
yes, I believe so. Unless you have any other instructions for me.
Only that I can provide other people if you need so. But I trust your judgment on such things.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Sure. So you rest outside. So assuming you're not staying awake all night, are you going to...
No, I assume that they're taking watches and I'm going to be there in case, Okay,
I don't think they are. Ailey seems to be going to sleep. Corellia seems to be going to sleep. Barnlect, I don't know, sleeping next to a camel.
All right. In that case, I'm going to go to sleep, but in, whatever the position is closest to the where people would come from if they were...
Yeah, I mean, you can sleep just, resting, like, sitting in front of the doorway itself, if that's what you want to do, with your sword resting in your lap or on your shoulder.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay, I've got to make some rolls now. Ailey, you're getting up in the night, aren't you? What time is Ailey getting up?
I'm going to wait until the camp is quiet and my particular camp. I'm not wait until the village is quiet and my campmates seem to be sleeping.
Okay. So you don't sleep. Can you do a perception check then? Because this will give you exhaustion if you're not
Perception.
sleeping tonight.
Oh, well, I'm not going to stay up tremendously late.
You're cutting out a chunk of your sleep here. If you're going to stay awake to make sure everyone else is asleep, and then it's late enough that everyone is asleep, and then sneak around, that's going to give you a short rest rather than a long one.
Okay, fine.
Cool.
Am I making a check for that, or am I just...
Give me a perception check to keep an ear out as your eyes are closed.
Mm-hmm. So, I wasn't thinking of necessarily like acting being asleep so much as just like one lies around and is the last person to actively fall asleep.
Okay, sure. Still keeping an eye out. What do you get for perception?
I rolled a 9, which with my perception I think is 13.
Okay.
Yes,
so
13.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to use my eyes, I can roll again with advantage, as it were.
Okay, I'll allow you to roll again. Yeah.
That was worse.
Okay.
13 it is.
You can tell a few Oseth are staying up and skulking around and eyeing up the animals here. Barnlect is sleeping against them. That does pose a bit of a problem, but he's only sleeping against the one camel. There's another camel and a lizard here, and there's a whole heap of stuff on top of the lizard, which obviously they don't know is 3 bodies. So it looks like you are flush with supplies while they're hungry. You can tell there's a few Oseth here who you don't know if they're kind of intimidated enough. They may try to steal something tonight.
Okay. That's an interesting problem I hadn't really given any thought to. I don't really care about the lizards.
Sure.
I am going to go into the tent, though.
Okay, sure. Do you want to give me a stealth check then, as you try to?
I'm not being stealthy.
Oh, you're just going to walk right past the sleeping, kneeling Kimwaset?
No, I'm going to say, Ilek, are you awake?
Okay. I think Kimwaset, if you're speaking out loud at the tent entrance, Kimwaset, your eyes will kind of gently open. You know that Ailey is standing next to you, kind of whispering at the tent door. You can just Kimwaset go back to sleep, or does he say anything?
Very strange dream I was having. What's going on?
So, am I like in the tent door?
You're at the tent door whispering in, I imagine.
You could probably choose to ignore that as the murmurs of somebody who's about to fall back asleep.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I don't deign it with a response. I just
Okay.
go inside.
Ilek does not respond. You go inside. You see him lying there, just kind of hands neatly resting on his chest. In the corner, Lola is kind of curled up, fetal position amongst her plants. Dissected body in the center. What are you doing?
Can I move along and just examine with my eyes particular objects and things?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like have a list to describe every individual thing, but there's a lot of
That's
odd
fine.
curios, many of which have, you think, a magical property. You know, the neatness of the shape, or the strangeness of the metal or material, those kind of things. Nothing's here speak out to you as being magical or associated with the eaters.
Then I'm going to look at the body and the way that the devices connect to it.
Sure.
And then I'm going to say to Ilek, as if he's awake, we should move the bodies inside of the monks. Else I fear they may be taken for supplies, and we may have to dispute over them.
He's just kind of lying there and goes, and stays on sleeping because he got a 2 on his perception.
Okay. Trying to decide if Ailey would steal something out of pure malice and greed. Just something small and possibly pointless that she could put in her pocket.
Well, it's kind of the time to decide.
I know. I'm trying to think. Like, I think
You can poke around the place if
she's
you want.
too careful. I think
Up to
she's too careful. Is the thing. No, I don't think she's going to risk it. I think she's just going to. She's going to shrug and go back outside.
Okay. You just have a look over the place. You don't poke through anything. Don't touch anything, really. Speak to Ilek. He mumbles in his sleep. You head back outside and rest,
Yeah, I think.
Yes?
Not quite. I do poke Barney and ask him to help me move the bodies inside.
Barney, you wake up. Take expediency. I'll say, yeah, Barney kind of, sleepily helps. Do you try to hide these bodies as you move? You don't know if the Oseth that were poking around here have gone.
Oh, I'll get what's his name?
Kimashet.
Kimashet. I'll get him to help as well.
What is happening about cigarettes?
So to be clear, sorry, you can move the bodies. I'm not going to make you make any checks for that. Are you trying to hide moving the bodies? Are you? These are
what
bodies.
I'd like Kimashet to do is to just kind of make sure people stay away, and then I'd like to move the bodies in a business-like but not actively stealthy way, just quickly, purposefully. This is perfectly normal.
Okay. All right. Sure. Kimashet, you're asked
I'm relying
to
on
help
distance
move.
and the dark to protect us rather than...
Kimashet is asked to get up and help move bodies. Does that have any impact on him?
What? I don't. Why? What's going on?
Yes, why are we moving bodies?
You want me to cart? This cat wants me to cart bodies around. I don't understand what's happening.
It's wizard's business.
Wizard's business. Yes, you're right. I'm still half asleep. I sort of try and drag myself.
Sure. Okay, if that's how you're handling things, then the cloth is taken off of these that is covering these sleepers upon the back of the hairy lizard. Harry, can you give me a wisdom saving throw for Kimashet, because you are seeing something kind of creepy, at the very least.
Is it Harry? Oh, I didn't warn him. I wouldn't have warned him.
Right.
Wisdom saving throw.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to fail that throw. I've got a 5 plus whatever.
Okay, you got a 5.
6. Yeah.
I will say that Barney can.
Yeah, I was thinking whether or not I would do it, but
I think your golden path only affects your rolls. Actually, I think I'm misremembering. Let me just check.
Really?
No, sorry, no, I forgot. It's wrong. It only affects other people. That's my mistake. Sorry. Yeah, so you can use your golden path rolls if you want for Kimashet.
Yeah, go on then.
I was so excited to be terrified.
Are you going to give him a nat 1 or a 19 or a 20?
Yeah, I'll give him a nat 1. No, 19.
Cool. Okay. Kimashet, you kind of inhale a bit sharply as you see this very creepy sight of perfectly healthy yet completely unmoving bodies bound in bandage, but kind of just having come up from sleep, wizard's business. There's too many factors here for you to really understand while your brain's not 100%. So you just kind of get up and move them. Gonna make rolls for rounds. Okay.
Yes, wizard's business. Tarnish.
The bodies are moved inside Elix's tent.
Could I cast? Could I have unfortunate one rolling as well?
Yeah, what for you?
For people who are for people who you've just rolled for, I imagine.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Let me just.
Oh, on the perception.
Yeah. Okay.
Good idea.
Nice. Okay. Cool. I'm not going to tell you what they rolled, but you did influence it. You place the bodies. You go back to sleep. Just reroll.
Oh, I also smoke my cigarette.
You quickly.
I go and lurk somewhere and smoke my
God
cigarette and
damn it.
stare at the dark.
This is terrible. All the tapestry,
Ailey is
the
like
setting.
canonically like 14.
You go to sleep and you wake up the next day. Now, anyone can tell me specific things they do in the day. Otherwise, we're just going to do some more rolls for Corelia and Ailey.
Have any of our little camels gone?
With Kimishek being woken up, they were not. They did not get the wisdom save necessary to kind of amp themselves up to steal your animals in the night. Okay. So, can Ailey and Corelia give me their investigation and psychic checks, respectively? Is Corelia putting spell slots? Sorry, are either of you putting any spell slots into these? Oh.
I'll put a spell slot in.
Cool. Shannon?
When I take a long rest, I go back to my normal level of hit points, right? It's not a permanent forever loss.
Yeah. You get them back.
And I'm gonna be a dum-dum and do the same thing as yesterday.
Sure. That's cool.
That's ironic because I rolled exactly the same 9 that I rolled yesterday.
Nice.
I do no better than before.
Are you putting a second level spell slot in again?
I am, but this time I am maintaining my impression that I always create technological mandalas, but I'm not this time paying attention to them. So maybe my DC is lower.
Okay. Well, Illic rolled exactly the same thing again as well, which is this is getting a bit creepy now.
Am I re-rolling because we've had a long rest?
Yeah, you re-roll your golden rolls, your golden path rolls now. But you can just note them down. You don't need to tell me. And Shannon, what did Corelia get? And you're burning a 5th level spell slot, right?
Yes. Okay. At 22.
22. Okay. Wow, this is pretty good this time. Or bad.
Cool.
17. You're
a very antagonistic DM, Liam. Oh, she's gonna die. This is good.
You reduce your maximum hit points by 27 points. I rolled nothing lower than a 5 there.
Thank you.
Yeah. At one point, Corelia gets up, goes outside, and fully vomits blood, which a few Oseth notice and are kind of horrified by.
Don't worry, it's fine.
Harry, can you give me an insight check, please? Sam, what's Barnley doing with his time, if anything?
18, by the way.
Sam, sorry, I think you're muted.
Nothing really, just bumbling about. Might go and have a little walk around, but not too far away from the tent. I might just go on a little walk around the perimeter, just to check things out.
Okay. Sure. I mean, Harry, sorry, what did you get for your insight?
18.
18. You're going through your motions of the day. I mean, it's basically you have a few administrative and advisory tasks under Sethnet. He's also got you guarding Illic's place now. But you're now switched to... It's now you alternating with Basok, given that no one tried anything yesterday. And then there's also you kind of maintaining your practice with the sword and so on. You going around the community tell that you can pick up the mood is souring towards the wizard and the people who have come after them. There's rumours going around. They saw some of them... moving things in the night last time. They're not sure what. They hoard food and animals. And by the way, I should say these are the points that are scored against you on the invisible scoring system I'm using. Today, this comes up a bit later. One of them reports to seeing one of the members go outside the tent and vomit blood. So you can tell the mood around here is beginning to sour fairly fast.
Good vibes only.
Meanwhile, Sam, Barnlake's going around the community. Do you interact with anyone? Because there are friendly Oseth here.
Yeah. Barney speaks to everyone.
Sure. Can you give me a persuasion check?
No social cues whatsoever. A persuasion check, is it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost certain that this is going to be very much a mark against us. You're going to go and do some horrible faux pas.
This is going to go horribly wrong. Persuasion +5, so not bad. 17.
Yeah, you can fortunate sun this, by the way. I will allow it.
Yeah, I will fortunate sun this, you know? 16.
Wait, did you just lower it from 17 to 16?
18.
18, okay. However, some of them do speak with some confidence about the Dromad amongst them. Barney, with not much to do, goes around, fraternises a bit with the community, and with his fairly kind of happy-go-lucky attitude, I would say, ends up carting around a few objects for the community. So it's not a sea of negative opinions, but by and large, things are souring. Sethnet himself, kind of senses this, you can tell, and tries to kind of quell fears, but he's kind of, he's the mediator, he's the centre of the community currently, so he becomes the thing that people put into their community opinions rather than the thing that necessarily commands them. That's what you're picking up. Sorry, what did Carillia get for her role, Shannon? For your...
Oh no, I forgot.
Oh, damn.
I already say.
Did anyone else hear? Would you have roll again then? If you forgot, if you roll again.
Oh no, but I think it was a good roll. I don't want to roll again.
Well, okay. If you,
I roll one this time.
I'll let you use a 10 if you don't want to bank it. But like, if you can't remember, then I don't think.
Roll again, Fanning, because I can help.
That's true. He can golden path you.
Wait, what am I rolling for?
You're rolling a psychic check, and I'm adding a bonus because you use a 5th level spell slot, and this is you using your magic to help Illic with his investigation.
Okay. Pretty sure my roll was. Does anyone in the chat know my roll? Okay. 15. I'm pretty sure I got higher than 15 last time. But 15.
Is that with your?
Yeah, you adding your modifier.
Yeah, with.
Oh, blimey. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine because you.
What's the modifier, Shannon?
7.
Okay, I'll give you 16. You get, so that's 23.
Shucks, thanks.
Okay, just got to change some numbers here.
Okay.
Okay, all right. You're just going through this at breakneck speed thanks to some very good rolls. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So let me try. I'm just checking my notes quickly. Sorry, one moment. Okay. So it comes to the end of the day. It's been another very taxing day. Carillia, you can see, is particularly haggard. You can see kind of, bruised bluish veins are now kind of showing on her skin and head and so on. Eyes are quite bloodshot. Those kind of things. This has been weighing on her, but your efforts have unquestionably been rewarded. Ilek has gone through his investigation at fairly breakneck speed. Ilek's got the 50 he needed, Carillia's got the 50 he needed, and Ailey's got the 30 she needed for you to investigate by the end of the second day.
Well, I had easy mode.
Yeah, I didn't think it would go quite this well, but there you go. However, I should note at this point that Ilek comes at the end of his investigation. That doesn't mean he's cured the Shale Plague. Eventually, he calls in Barnlect and Ailey and Carillia and Lola and says, I've now concluded my investigations into the nature of the Shale Plague. Such things are not my expertise. There are ways that Lola can understand diseases that I can't, but I know now the magic necessary. Or, to be precise, I know the magical steps necessary. I already had a sense of how we were going to do things in a time frame that was practical. And it is not a moment too soon, because Lola here, who has been scouting the mountains, I would say that Lola is largely away while you're here. She's not particularly helping. Has been aiding with finding food on the mountains with the Oseth people, but has, with her keen eyes, as she tells me, spotted an army moving from the east. The 7 feather-plumed banners of the Rayfort Half-Legion march towards Behel. We have perhaps 3 days before they are at the gates. Whether they will wait there and wait out the city or invade immediately, I cannot be sure. But with walls that are broken down, I can't imagine they will hold their head for long. There's also the risk that factions within Behel itself will surrender without a fight, and our efforts will be for naught. So it is necessary tomorrow for us to begin a rather sizable spell to cure or create a cure for the Shale Plague itself that we can replicate and use upon every Oseth here. The matter is this: I have not explained my full intentions to the Oseth here. I'm here to cure the plague, that is true, but I need an army, as I explained to you, to save the city of Behel. That much I have not told them.
You didn't tell them that?
It would be... I thought it was prudent for me to come here and see what I could do on the slimmest chance I was unable to do anything. I wouldn't set them against me by making requests in exchange for things I then it turns out cannot provide.
Okay.
Sorry, that caught me out. Carillia, you are somewhat valued by this community. Are you, would you help me in talking over these matters with Setnet?
To be honest, I don't know how comfortable I feel throwing these guys in a deadly plague and sending them off to die.
They may not all die. I mean, it may be that none of them die. There's a possibility that with a show of force from the combined might of the Oseth and the city of Behel, the Half-Legion departs, and there is no conflict. You can't say for sure that this is
I really believe
one
that.
death over another. And I've heard stories that the Oseth were once very great and strong warriors. Maybe that it is the forces of Rayfort who should fear for their lives.
You want help from the Oseth. I'll have to do more for them than cure the plague. They're starving and the community's dying.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe that Ilek has actually cured or is able to cure the plague?
Okay.
Do I think he's telling the truth?
Give me an Arcana check. I would say that there are kind of like there are sprawling scrolls and scribbled upon tablets of stone and so on with all these sums that are kind of very kind of sporadically littered about this place. But either he's done an incredibly elaborate performance, or there is a massive amount of calculation that's gone into this. But yeah, give me an Arcana check.
Can I put this away? Can I read him to see if
sure. Insight. You can give me an insight. Yeah, sure.
Hidden.
If you're trying to read him rather than what he's done, you can do insight. Yeah.
In case this affects the DC, I'm going to outline what I think Ailey is suspicious of.
Okay.
1, is he telling the truth about being able to cure it?
Mm-hmm.
2, has he spent this time preparing a spell that serves his own goals instead? 3, will the spell do something in addition to what he has outlined or promised that benefits him, such as making them more able to serve him as soldiers?
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the things that Ailey is suspicious of.
Give me an insight check.
Shit. Just drop my dice. Let's roll that again. That is a 17. And my bonus of 7 is a 24.
Ooh, 24. Okay. You look into his eyes and you've seen this... you might call it madness, you might call it enthusiasm upon Ilek before, the thrill of magic in of itself. His eyes burn with a clarity when looking at you and talking about... There's... if it's a deception, it's a a greater kind of commitment to the lie than you've seen from Ilek previously. He wasn't that good at hiding that he was masquerading as Nook previously. He appears to you to be convinced of his own magic here, that it will cure the Oseth. You do not think he has extra layers to the spell itself. You think that his leverage is that it cures them, then they work for me, not it cures them and turns them into like super soldiers or mindless slaves or anything. That's what you have on a 24.
In that case, I will say to him, Corellia is right. You have to offer them alliance, not service. But this starving, desperate tribe of homeless nomads, eking out bare living in huts they can hardly even construct, they will fight for you tooth and nail if you can offer them a real home.
Can you give me a either Corellia or Ailey can give me a persuasion check on advantage?
I do the checks. I think I'm better than you.
I think that's true, and also
Corellia
it's your
is.
point, not mine. I'm just helping.
Okay. On advantage, did you say?
Yes, on
Did
advantage.
I make that up?
No, on advantage because both of you are.
Yeah.
I'm
supporting Corellia, but it's her argument, not mine.
16.
16 on advantage. You got a 16. Okay, doesn't matter. That's still you still made good arguments. He ponders your words for a moment. I will say, Ailey, when Ailey mentions giving them a home, there is a kind of an irrepressible faint smile that does come across his face for a moment. I think you're right. I asked too much, or I plan to ask too much of the Oseth for me to just have them serve a fight they could have no part in, just in exchange for the cure. A home, as you put it, is something people will fight harder for, I think. I'm here to fight for a home, after all. I no longer have my position within Behel, although Nook there, masquerading as me, will serve my will. I will make arrangements. I have someone I can talk to beyond Nook, who I think will be amenable to this cause. He begins to root around in one of his satchels. Barney, could you kind of extend a hand? Could you pass me your sword? He kind of absentmindedly takes your sword. Barney, can you give me an insight check?
I can. Insight. Insight.
Barney, I'm going to need your other hand.
18.
18. He kind of absentmindedly, not really looking, takes the sword from you, and you see he moves, he grabs and holds it with such a deftness that you think he has more familiarity with this blade and blades in general than you might have. You've not seen Ilek wield a kind of a weapon before, as it were. But anyway, he takes this sword and he very kind of neatly places this small silver ball in front of him on the ground, and just using the pommel smashes the thing, and small bits of chrome kind of scatter and fly about. He kind of recoils slightly from the blast, hands the sword back to it. Thank you, Barney. Right, I've just made arrangements to meet with someone who's got a bit more power in Behel than I do currently. Yes, I think they'll be here soon enough, tomorrow. Maybe even tonight if they're incensed enough.
I love this.
We have the fortune of Behel being in a period of wealth of food. The plague seems to have stayed away largely from the Beckfee Flats. Just to remind you, this is the place where they grow most of their grain, north of the city. We do not want for food. There are many Oseth here, but certainly they could be provided for. What matters is negotiation. But first of all, of course, I do need the Oseth on my side. And so, Corellia, I will ask you again. Will you help me convince Setnet to fight for Behel so that it can be their home? where they can eat their fill.
Just to clarify, he is saying that they can make a home in Bahel if they fight for him.
He seems fairly convinced that that is possible. Yeah.
Okay. I trust him, so.
Sorry, did you say yes? You faded out a bit there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I'm stressed.
Brilliant. Then, kind of looks around at this place. This is a bit of a state. Let's make arrangements to speak with Sethnet elsewhere.
You're not going to tell us what the cure is?
Well, the cure itself is going to be a substance. I'm going to... Well, let me put it this way. I think I might be making an Oseth very, very popular. A saviour unto their people, perhaps. It's going to be very interesting. Anyway, he reaches outside and speaks to Kimwaset. You, Kimwaset, something? If you could be so kind as to fetch Setnet. We are going to begin the crafting of the cure tomorrow.
Is he gonna,
and there are
is
matters
he gonna
we must
do
talk.
to fuck her up like one of these monks?
Yeah. So he asks you to go get Sethnet. I think we're going to end there, as Kimwaset kind of warily looks back and heads off
No.
into the night to find Sethnet and talk.
But Liam, I wanted to use my new mantra.
Oh, did you? Well, you can use it right
I wanted
now.
to have a lovely weird cliffhanger.
Okay. The weird cliffhanger is: are the negotiations going to
play
go
till
well? But
midnight
sure.
instead.
No, Shannon, no.
No. Okay. I mean, we can play a bit longer, but like, it's going to be the negotiations itself will take at least 30 minutes, I think.
I have to eat my dinner and I have to go to sleep.
I just want to have Ailey find a private moment to cast her new mantra.
Okay, we will end with the new mantra then. Sure.
Okay.
Um,
And I want to know something before we go any further. Given the fact that the truth of the answers depends on the rolls, do you want to make them hidden from my view?
No, I do that. That is part
Excellent.
of that is part of the mantra's rules.
I didn't realize you made all the mantra checks, but that makes much more sense. The question is,
to be clear, specifically for this mantra, I make the checks hidden.
That's exactly what I would have suggested if it wasn't already the case.
Okay, cool. So I will say that Kimwaset is arranging to get Sethnet. They're going to talk. It's early evening. Right. Ilek at the doorway to all of you. Shall we go? I've got a good feeling about this. And I imagine Ailey will just kind of quickly say, I'm just going to clean up here.
I'll make my excuse.
Ailey makes an excuse as the rest of you leave. And Ailey, you hold out your rods and you begin to say a mantra that you chanted many times at old, but now a few syllables, a few words are altered as you say them. And the rod responds. I'm going to make the rolls now. What's your wisdom modifier?
It is +4.
Cool. Okay. Should be writing this down, actually.
Given that this one has the rolls hidden, is there any way I can guess at my success at the mantra?
I mean, you can guess by listening to whether the answers get, are right or wrong later on.
There is a very interesting thing. I'm going to roll a die now to see how well does Ailey understand the functionality of this mantra?
Well, we're kind of going to get to that when I describe this, which is you begin the mantra, you believe you say it well, and thin lines of lightning go between the head of the rod and your forehead. And as you do, there's a kind of a flash in the mind, and faint images begin to coalesce. What are the questions you're putting forward? You do not literally say these questions. These are the things you hold in your mind, and then, answers come to you.
So Ailey is a suspicious person.
Yep.
And she begins by asking... No, actually she doesn't. She's going to skip that because I'm not going to be a fool today. She begins by asking if Ilek the wizard the Undying is successful in his goal with the Osef, can Behel hold and prevail?
So you this only sees 7 days in the future or 7 days into the past. The answer for now is yes.
Okay. The second question is, will Behel's fall better serve my lord?
I need to think about this for a moment. Irrelevant, I think, is the response there. But bear in mind, I do want to be clear, this is only irrelevant for the previous and following 7 days. It doesn't see beyond those points. But
I understand.
within that window, irrelevant.
The last question is, the visions of myself that I have seen, were they true visions of the future and past?
True vision of the future and past. I think to this, rather than a word response or kind of an understanding, what you get is a vision again of that line of yourselves. But as you put that question to it, what appears is an extension of lines of Ailey forwards and backwards as well as left to right, and you see a kind of quantum sprawl of Ailey's in all different directions, and you get the sensation that this is an expression of uncertainty. You see Ailey's hobbled and crippled. You see Ailey's that are skeletons that have died and their flesh rotted away. You see Ailey's thriving with trimmings of gold hanging from kind of dressed up robes and so on.
Do I see Ailey's scarred from the pox that I, as a youth, narrowly and easily survived?
You see your childhood self, and you will see other versions of your childhood as well. Once we didn't get the pox,
see
ones where you weren't at the monastery, so on and so forward.
And I don't think Ailey understands this, but she sees. I think the vision ends with just they extend in every direction and with increasing variety, and then it's a visual overload, and the mantra ends. Yeah,
brilliant.
They just populate beyond conception.
Great, you can have inspiration for that because that's really cool. Anyway, we end with these uncertainties, these strange questions, this magic. I think this one went well. I'm excited to what happens next time. We've got negotiations and then perchance the beginning of a conflict. Who knows? Anyway, hopefully tune in next week. Thanks everyone for watching. Goodbye. Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.